Hey everybody, welcome to the Jim Masters Show Live. How are you today? I hope you're having a good day. The weekend continues. We're having a wonderful weekend here. We just literally got in the door from being outside along the coast. We went for a nice jog with family and friends, and we were over by the shoreline, which was really beautiful. Hot and humid today here along the coast in the greater New York City area between New York and Boston, right on the southern New England shoreline, and really beautiful and gorgeous day. Not a lot of people out. I don't know if everybody maybe is at the beach or staying in the air conditioning, but not as many people out at the parks as you would normally see, of course, which does make sense. Social distancing, wearing the masks. We, of course, were doing all of that. But a beautiful day. The air conditioning is really cranking here at our home studio because it's hot and humid outside, and it's supposed to be like a heat wave happening throughout the entire week from what they said, in the mid 90s, I think tomorrow, and the same for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. How are you? That's the key question. I'm your host, Jim Masters. This is the entertainment lifestyle talk show series, The Jim Masters Show Live. Now getting ready to enter week number 14 of continual shows nightly, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, live. Again, I'm a professional television radio host, journalist, actor, voiceover artist, narrator, writer, producer, stage MC, on camera, on air, behind the scenes. Been doing it for many years on networks, television stations, radio stations, and so much more. 14 weeks ago, we launched this show here, built a home studio. Have been doing our tweaking, upgraded our systems, and here we are. And it's a blessing to have you here today. How's everybody doing? I greet all of you as we always do, and of course we've got our nice drink here too. We go first class here at the Jim Masters Show Live. So I always say, we've done this on every show, unless I forget. We say hello to you and you and you and you and you and you from all around the world. It's great to have you with us. I thank you very much for making us a part of your day, your morning, your evening, wherever you're watching around the world. We do have a global audience. We have amazing guests, great music, food, entertainment, and we touch on every topic you can think of, and we have a grand time. Wonderful guest last night, Dreama Denver, wife of Bob Denver, who was Gilligan on Gilligan's Island, and of course on Dobie Gillis. We had an extraordinary 4-hour conversation last night. And before that, Scott Schwartz, who was in A Christmas Story and The Toy, Christmas Story, that holiday classic, The Toy with Jackie Gleason and Richard Pryor. We did a 5.5-hour show with him. We won't be that long tonight, but those were amazing conversations, and they wanted to talk and share their experiences with us. And those were epic shows. You can see them in full on YouTube at Jim Masters TV. 14 weeks of nightly episodes. Again, night after night after night of terrific episodes of the Jim Masters Show Live. Also some cool pop-up shows as well, where we just popped up like on a Saturday or Sunday morning. We're doing a lot of that too on YouTube. Didn't do it this weekend only because we had such long and lengthy extended shows on Friday and Saturday that went into like midnight and 1 a.m. So we have soaked our feet, and we have exercised our legs from those lengthy shows. But boy, were they spectacular. Amazing guests to have on the show. And a pleasure to have you on the show as well. So we toast all of you. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're keeping cool if you're in a hot environment. I know many of you are saying that it's hot where you are. And we will do this as we always do. We go big, we go Hollywood with our lights, camera, action. So, ready? 3, 2, 1. Lights, camera, action. The Jim Masters Show is live with lights, camera, action. I love this thing, don't you? This thing is cool. It actually hangs on the wall. I think I showed it at one of the pop-up shows. It's actually something that hangs on the wall. And, some of the props we use here at the Jim Masters Show Live are things that we actually took from certain rooms of the house. Your friend George is here. Isn't it cool? So many people that have been guests on the show. And again, the show isn't just guests. We do shows where it's just us and we go on location. And I'm working on a lot of additional on-location segments for you guys because I know you love them. But George is here. And last night, Dreama Denver whipped out a Bob Denver Gilligan bobblehead doll. And she's going to send one of those to me, which I really appreciate that. And that was cute. I think Billy Stritch, he had a doll, an action doll, and everybody who has these collectible dolls, it's becoming like a theme here on the Jim Master Show. They're rummaging through all of their toys and their collectibles. So here's George Burns. George is here to greet you. He's here every night as my sidekick with a cigar and his friendly smile, and he sees all of you around the world and he greets you. You know, everybody loves the Genie bottle too. I know you guys do. So again, you know, me being a TV person, a broadcast person, I love all the TV memorabilia and trivia as well. And here is the I, Jimmy Genie bottle. And she greets all of you. So much like 3D, isn't it? She says hello to you and you and you and you. Hope you guys are doing well today, wherever you're watching around the world. Silver is here. I need more arms, or I need to be an octopus. Silver's here, and Silver greets all of you. He says hello to all of you as well. Hello, how are you and you and you and you and you? Hope you guys are doing well wherever you're watching around the world. He nods. He's a good Silver lab. Got him on a TV shoot in Europe. Comes from Switzerland, and everybody loves Silver too. They look for the Silver lab on the show. We're going to have Gilligan coming on. I think as soon as we get the bobblehead doll from Dreama, she wants me to include Gilligan, the bobblehead collectible doll Gilligan, on the show as one of our cast of characters. So I think we've started a trend here. Again, these were supposed to be here just for one night only when we did Nostalgia, but then everybody fell in love with these characters and they look for them. If I don't have the characters on the show, then everybody's like, well, where's George Burns and where's Jeannie and where's Jimmy? Jimmy's here too. Again, our show is all about light, levity, and love, or lovity as we have deemed it. All of our lovities are watching right now from around the world. So Jimmy is here, and Jimmy says hello. This was a childhood toy. Don't you love those blue feet? He's well preserved. He's been here since childhood, and he greets you as well. So everybody's here as far as our cast of characters. You guys are here, and that's a wonderful thing. So let's see who's here with us right now as we welcome each of you to the Jim Masters Show Live. And again, I appreciate all of you watching around the world. Lots of great guests we have here and lots of great viewers. This will be a blast. Absolutely. All the shows are always a blast. We always try to make it fun and make it interesting. So it's good to have you with us here on the show today. Ron McKee, good to see you, Ron. Thank you for joining us. Or Mackie, Knock 'em Dead. Thank you. I appreciate that, Ron. You're watching on Facebook right now, a new viewer as well. And Crystal, hi, Jim and everyone. I hope you're having a fantastic day. I'm looking forward to another great show. Thank you very much, Crystal. We are here. We are live. And it's great to have you with us on YouTube and on Facebook. Again, if you want to see any of the episodes of the 14 weeks of our shows, then fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. Just go to YouTube and they're there. Tonight, we're going to announce our new viewer of the week. I'm going to do that towards the end of the show. You know, when I do my show wrap up, we're going to announce a new viewer of the week. So don't go anywhere because maybe one of you will be the new viewer of the week. Renee Oscom in Iowa has been our viewer of the week. She got a bonus. She got 2 weeks being our viewer of the week, the Jim Masters Show Live official viewer of the week. We've been doing viewer of the weeks really ever since we started the show, where I celebrate one of our viewers, a viewer who's very loyal, a viewer who's very active, has brought people to the show, has told people about the show, and also has the watch parties and shares the links and everything as well. So Renee, good to see you as well. And you'll be tossing that crown over to the new person later tonight towards the end of the show we'll reveal. Ralph is here. Good to see you in Indiana, Ralph. Merlin is here in Innerkip, Ontario, Canada. Hey there, looking forward to the show. Thank you very much, Merlin. Good to have you with us. Christine Clifton is here. Greetings, Jim, and all the lovities. Wonderful to have you as well. Thank you very much, Renee. We really appreciate that here on the show. Good to have you here. And Kathleen, good to see you as well. And thanks. I got the text, and that was a cute text that you sent. I really like it. Good to see you and hope you're doing well, and blessings to your mom. Willie in the Netherlands. It's hot, 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 hot. Do you have air conditioning where you are, really? Because I know you always say it's very, very hot. I hope you have air conditioning where you are there in Holland, in the Netherlands. We say hello to you as well. There are your Dutch tulips when you're on our show. You've been with us, I think it's almost 60 shows now, I think. Haven't missed a single show there in the Netherlands. And it's like 12 minutes after 1 a.m. in the Netherlands. And you're always there and very loyal watching. We thank you for that, Willie, and welcome. I bet you hated to leave the shore. We're lucky because we live by the shore on the coast, but like as far as being like right on the water, yeah, sure. But we're really just a matter of blocks away. We're very lucky. We're just a few blocks away from the actual shore itself. Linda, good to see you in Alabama. Good evening. Wonderful Sunday evening. Everyone from Alabama, thanks for joining us. Tulips coming from Willie in Holland. She's always reciprocal with that. Renee says, hot here too today. Finally got some rain this morning. I chased our church service inside in the hour before it was to start. Uh-oh. That's funny because I know you, with the social distancing, you guys have been trying to do the services outside. The rain comes and chases you inside. Toasting from Merlin and Willie. And good to see you as well. Garcia, where are you from? What town or city, country? We have a lot of people that watch from Brazil and Spain and Ireland and England and Italy. We've been looking at the analytics. It's amazing. All across the United States, Canada. It's really amazing and fantastic. We appreciate it. Crystal is here. Cheers to you, Crystal. Toasting. Yeah, Dreamer was terrific last night, wasn't she? She was very, very sweet, very open. She and Scott were very, very open as well. Hey, Jim, Tawana and me said, have a shot for us. You got it, Tommy. And say hi to your dad, Uncle Artie. I hope he's doing well and give him my best. And hopefully he's watching too. I've been sending him, I think, texts about the show. So I don't know if he's figured it out yet, but maybe he's watching with you guys as well. Hello to you and Tawana in Connecticut. Avril, Britain, we were just talking about you today. It's good to see you, Avril. Hi. Hope you're okay. We Lou just for the thud. Let me say. Okay, we Lou just for the thud. I'm gonna have to think about that. I'll have to think about how that is. Not sure what that means, but I think you're saying, hope you're having a wonderful day, and it's hot there in England too, right? And Hampshire, United Kingdom, probably is. But it's good to see you here, Merlin. I always start out fully charged phone, then I have to go to your computer. Well, don't worry about it. That's going to be fine tonight. Oh, I also realized too, I've been talking to, our technical crew, and, sometimes that clicking or that sound you can hear, that comes from the guest. If the guest uses an iPhone, we have deduced this. We did a lot of investigatory work. If any of our guests use an iPhone when they come into our system and they haven't updated their iPhone recently, that sound comes from their iPhone. That sort of sound that you can hear. So we just learned that today. So we're going to tell all of our guests going forward, try not to use a phone at all. Try to use a laptop, a tablet, a computer. But if you have to use a phone and it's an iPhone, not an Android, because the issue is not with Android, it's with the iPhones, with Apple. There was some sort of a system upgrade that happened, and some people have not updated their iPhones to make it marry with the system. So I'm going to let the guests know, anybody that calls in or what have you, using their iPhone, they need to update it. They just tap a button and the phone updates. So they need to do that. Otherwise, that's why you get that sound every once in a while. Not coming from here. It's coming from the guest, only if the guest uses an iPhone, which most of our guests don't, but every once in a while somebody will. And Marilyn, watching in Wichita, Kansas. I bet it's hot there today too, huh? Hi, Jim and everyone. You are sure bringing back conversations. The art of conversation is what we've done here. That's what I do for a living as a conversationalist, as a television and radio personality and broadcaster, but I love doing it. So great to be tuned in as always. And we love having you there in beautiful Kansas. No, that is pink lemonade. We are having some pink lemonade in that fancy martini glass. What are you having, Christine? And good evening, Ralph. Good to see you there in Indiana. Jennifer, ginger ale, soda drinking. You're boring tonight. Normally you have Jameson. I know Scott Schwartz was noticing that you were mentioning Jameson. And he's like, what is she talking about? Jameson. I don't know who Jameson is. I said, no, she's talking the whiskey. She's watching the show and she's having a couple of shots of Jameson whiskey as she's watching the show. Scott went through like 25 bottles of Diet Snapple, it looked like, on his picnic table in the backyard. I heard from him. He really enjoyed the show. We're going to break bread, hopefully, when I go out to LA or if he comes east. Same thing with Dreama. We're going to do the same thing. It's hot here in North Carolina, but here in North Carolina, we've managed to have a hurricane, an earthquake, and a tornado in the same week. You had an earthquake? I didn't hear about that. There was an earthquake in North Carolina. I mean, a hurricane, an earthquake, and a tornado. Well, the storm was a hurricane when you guys had it. And then when it got up here as a tropical storm here in the Northeast, it did some damage. It took down power lines, trees fell on houses, hundreds of thousands of people without power, still a lot of people without power. I don't know. We were blessed here because we are, on the shoreline. Not literally on the water. The water isn't right outside our window. We're probably about 7 blocks, maybe up from the water. We didn't lose power and there's no damage here. But other areas, trees down and power outages. So all kinds of different things have happened. But a hurricane, an earthquake, a tornado, a pandemic, economic collapse, civil unrest. What is left? We are here. That's what's left. We are here to have inspiration. So you hang in there. Yeah, 2020 is what it's all about. Hopefully 2021 will come real soon. Little Jimmy is a cute clown. Glad you like Little Jimmy. He is here. And I think a lot of people would agree with that. Yeah. We had a dear family friend pass away last week of early onset Alzheimer's. That was last week. I think I mentioned it on one of the pop-up shows. So we've been dealing with that. And of course, my dear friend Regis Philbin passed the week before. And it's been great being Viewer of the Week for 2 weeks. That's right. You got a bonus because we've been so busy with guests and all, but also you've been so great at really being so just loyal to the show, telling everybody and just really being there in such a wonderful way. So good to have everybody here. Hello, everybody. Again, this is a talk show. I'm the host. I do an introduction first, then we bring the guest on. It's called the Jim Masters Show Live, right? So hang in there. That will happen in just a minute. Nobody start sweating. Thanks. Yes, 60 shows. That is fantastic. That is great. Avril, we like to greet our viewers here first. That's what the show is really all about. Hot. Jim, sorry, typo. Did not notice it. Jim, sorry about that. No problem. No worries at all, Avril. We got the message. We knew what you were talking about. Sherry, it's good to see you as well. Welcome. Good to see you this evening as well. Francis, welcome. Tuning in for the first time, looking forward to seeing Jerry Castaldo on your show tonight. First time I'm viewing this. We've been here 14 weeks every single night. So hopefully you'll continue to be part of our lovely family here on the show, where something is different and unique every broadcast. Looking forward to the show. You're having a dirty martini. Getting down and dirty. Renee is having iced tea to drink. Hey, boring is good. 44 days until your favorite season, fall. I love the fall too, because I was born in September. Not really. I know you told me I should have some rest time, but we were on till midnight last night and then didn't get much rest time. I think I went to bed about 3 a.m., got up around 8, and then getting everything prepared for this show. There's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes to get the shows together. So good to see everybody's doing well. We've done all of our welcomes, which we traditionally like to do with our broadcast, as we do, like Regis and Kathy Lee did, the chat in the beginning. That's what it's all about. That's when we started this show, we didn't have any guests. It's only in I'd say the last maybe 10 weeks, we started bringing guests on the show. And it's terrific. We've got a wonderful guest on tonight, dear friend Jerry Castaldo, singer and entertainer and comedian. He's been around a long time, has done a lot of performances, and he's excited to be here on the show. He's not going to be doing a live performance. We sort of thought he was going to, but he's not going to do a live performance tonight. So it's going to be a conversation, and we're going to have a good time as well. He also authored a memoir, and we'll talk about that as well. And I've been reading through that. It's quite fascinating. Really, really, really is. So now that we've checked that everybody is safe and sound all around the world, which is a beautiful thing, because again, things get really, really crazy. We're excited to welcome Jerry to our show. This is the first time he's a viewer, an avid viewer of our show, but this is the very first time that he's joining us as a guest here on the show, and we're excited to have him here. Let me tell you a little bit about my very special guest on tonight's broadcast, Jerry Castaldo, a Brooklyn, New York-born musical entertainer who grew up in the once predominantly Italian rough and tumble section of that borough called Bensonhurst. Now, for those of you maybe in the South or the Midwest, and when you hear Bensonhurst, you probably think of the honeymooners, right? Because Bensonhurst, I think Bensonhurst was part of the phone number for Ralph Cramden. His apartment building was just down the street from the famed disco, the 2001 Odyssey, where the iconic film Saturday Night Fever was set. Now, since the 90s, Jerry has been logging an average of about 300 shows a year, traveling primarily up and down the East Coast of the U.S., from the New York City tri-state area through the Carolinas to Florida. Jerry's shows have him singing and playing a mean electric guitar, kicking and leaping, sliding and spinning throughout an exciting show comprised of songs from the standards to the solid gold pop hits from the 50s, 60s, and 70s, as well as his own compositions as well. Now, one of his original songs, When Did You Stop Loving Me, was even featured on the Howard Stern show when they interviewed him about the making of the music video that accompanied that song. Also, while not a comedian in the classic sense of the word, Jerry's onstage antics and short audience participation comedy segments always have his audiences smiling throughout the performances. Jerry is open on the road for 60s stars such as million-selling recording artist Lou Christie, as well as being booked to open for many other acts like Jay Black from Jay and the Americans, Maureen McGovern, that is, and Gary Lewis and the Playboys. Remember Maureen McGovern? She sang that song that was very popular from the Poseidon Adventure, the movie. There's Got to Be a Morning After, very popular song. As well as Marilyn McCoo and Billy Davis. I've always enjoyed them. He's open for comedians like film star Dom DeLuise. We lost Dom too early. Dom was a riot. And most notably, of course, Jerry Seinfeld as well, who he devotes an entire chapter to in his book, which we'll talk about soon. His enormous volume of shows are due to his untiring commitment to working everywhere and anywhere there's an audience. This also means social, civic, and fraternal clubs, as well as corporate events, and even retirement communities. Is he a workhorse? Yes. I know what that's like. And Wednesday night, August 12th, he's going to be doing an outdoor show at the Heath Village in Hackettstown, New Jersey. Speaking of his book, his memoir called Brooklyn, New York, A Grim Retrospective, which was edited by former New York Post columnist and author Chip DeFea. He was also a jazz cabaret critic for the New York Post some years ago. His book has garnered almost 600 five-star reviews between Amazon and Barnes & Noble online, and has held the #1 top-rated position for 3 consecutive years on Amazon in 4 different categories, which were bios of entertainers, substance abuse, self-help, and motivation. As a matter of fact, at one point in 2012, Jerry's book held the #2 position on Amazon for all 700,000 plus Kindle books on the site for a full month. Praised by former Village Voice columnist Michael Musto, New York Post columnist and former Good Morning America contributor Cindy Adams, and even comedian the late David Brenner, who was another one we lost too early. Jerry's book has taken root in pop culture as a memoir of hope and redemption. We're very excited to welcome him to the show. He is having some technical issues with his Wi-Fi because of the storm that came through. He's over in New York on Long Island. So while he's getting ready, we'll show you some photos we have here of Jerry through the years. Talk about some of these as well while he gets things set up on his end. Some really cool stuff. And again, many performances. And we're so excited to have folks watching who know of Jerry, folks who are also our audience from around the world, and folks who are maybe sampling the show for the first time. If you're watching for the very first time, This is an entertainment lifestyle talk show series we do nightly, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. This was really cool, celebrating the healthcare workers with a show for 2020. And again, the healthcare workers are extraordinary. I have several in my family who have been on the front lines in various roles: nurses, doctors, medical personnel, people in retail stores, as Jerry when he was younger. As a teenager, he did all kinds of performances on the streets, Atlantic City as well. Even Joe Franklin on the Joe Franklin Show, which might be known only to people in the New York tri-state area, but Joe Franklin was a legendary and prolifically knowledgeable television host, a real historian, a real trivia buff. We lost him not that long ago. This is back in the 80s, and Joe was really amazing. He had a show on WOR-TV Channel 9, which is now WWOR-TV Channel 9 in New York, for years and years and years. And this is when Jerry was a guest on Joe's show. And I had an opportunity to meet Joe on several occasions as well. And he was a wonderful, wonderful person to know. Again, we lost him just a year or so ago. He was a real icon, a real legend in television New York broadcast media. He did a show late night every night called The Joe Franklin Show. And again, Jerry was a guest on that show as well. I remember seeing, I think it's on YouTube. There he is when he was a kid. We're going back in time here. In Brooklyn, New York at 17 years old as well. Really, really cool stuff. Some great photos we have here. And there is the memoir, Brooklyn, New York, A Grim Retrospective. Almost 600 5-star reviews on Amazon. Jerry Castaldo, a memoir. Really, really terrific. And it was top rated on Amazon as well. We'll talk about that. And again, some fantastic. This was Marianne from Brooklyn after the videotaping interview for his book at Spumoni Gardens, 2012. Really cool stuff, huh? There he is when he's at Barnes & Noble as well. Helping out the Actors Fund, which is a beautiful thing to do because a lot of artists right now are struggling and they're having a real tough time. Raleigh, North Carolina, opening for Lou Christie. Wonderful experience. I'm sure he loved that. And some other promotional photos as well. Jumping up in the air, and here he is leaping or flying off the stage. I wonder who caught him. Maybe we'll find out. Shooting the video for his original song featured on The Howard Stern Show. That was back in 2016 when Howard had him on the show. And again, some other cool shots. There's Black Magic Woman. Another great shot there. On the road with 60s superstar Lou Christie. And Jerry had shared these from his personal collection for our show tonight exclusively. Driving the Deuce and a Half truck in Germany when he was in the Army, as opposed to Armany, Germany, Armany. And Scene from The Owl and the Pussycat. There's Jerry Castaldo there as well. And he's done print work and some modeling work as well through the years. Cool stuff. And we have some comments coming in. Let's take a look at the comments as we wait for our illustrious guest. He's having some major technical issues. Again, due to the storm that rolled through the Northeast, Wi-Fi, there's some sort of a Wi-Fi issue that is occurring on his end. And he mentioned it to me before we went live, but let's see. I want to make sure that we scroll up. Everybody's saying welcome, 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 welcome. Yes, as far as being a workhorse, I think you're right. Hello, Linda. Good to see you. And everybody welcoming Jerry, and we will welcome him momentarily as soon as he gets everything squared away. I definitely know how to vamp and fill in. I'm the king of filling in dead air and vamping, but this isn't dead air because it's us. It's us chatting. You guys wanted me to do a pop-up show this weekend. We couldn't because we had very extended shows this last two evenings, which were extraordinary. Welcome, Francis, to the Jim Master Show Live. A welcome from us Lovities, who are welcoming Francis to the show. which is wonderful. It's her first night watching, and we're excited to have her here. Because of the recent storms, they're having problems connecting. So just keep trying, my friend. We are here. He posted that about 4 or 5 minutes ago. So they're trying and they're trying. He's got a whole setup there. I think his father's with him too. Linda, hello, Renee and Willie. Everybody likes to say hello to each other as well. That's amazing success with the book. Absolutely. Randy is here watching on Facebook. Good to see you, Randy. Welcome to the Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series, The Jim Masters Show. If those of you in the New York area probably know me from working on WLIW Channel 21 PBS for years, WNET Channel 13, WLNY TV 55, which is now CBS 10 and 55. Did the news there, voiceovers, commercials, hosted telethons, WLIW and WNET, lots of shows, interns at Cablevision when they were launching News 12, Long Island. So cool stuff, cool stuff. Just keep trying, Jerry. You'll see what happens. You'll see what happens. If not, then we can always reschedule. Hope you will let Jerry play and sing a song besides talking with us. He wasn't scheduled to perform. He had mentioned that he wasn't going to be performing. So I know, yeah, of course, we always let people that want to perform, people that want to juggle, people that want to bake a cake, whatever they want to do, we let them do it. But so, you know, we don't not let people do things. We let them do whatever they want. But he is having a lot of technical issues. So I don't even know if he's going to even be able to get on the show. But it's nice welcoming all of you. Now you know where the show is. Now you know where we are. So this is your dress rehearsal. Tomorrow night, we have Jerome Brooks Jr. on, and he's amazing. Fabulous actor, composer, musician. He's all excited. You probably, if you go on my Facebook page, Jim Masters TV, you will see the promo for Jerome Brooks. He is highly acclaimed, and he's a great guy, and we're all excited to have him tomorrow. So, yep. If he could, we would let him, but he wasn't going to do it tonight anyway. He said he wasn't going to play. So, hiya, great to be here. June, good to see you. It was great speaking with you earlier. Hope you're doing well. Ooh, boo. Sorry, Jerry. Christine Fairwood. That's funny. Sorry to hear, but we aren't going anywhere. We will stick around. Hopefully you can get connected. Yeah, we'll be here if you can get connected within a reasonable amount of time, because we can't do another 4-hour. We did that, and we have some other things we have to do tonight. Like you said, that's funny. That's funny. We'll just have to reschedule. No, hey, things happen. It's not a big deal. Things happen. You know, we're here. We're here every night. We're booked all the way until October with guests. We have some amazing people coming up. But yeah, it's a technical thing. The storm that came through was rough in the Northeast, if not the whole East Coast. So it sort of messed up people's Wi-Fi and power. And like Dave is mentioning, we're in Jerry's studio audience having some technical issues. So that's what's happening. And they're trying. I mean, I almost wish I could hear what they're saying. Could you imagine what they're saying right now as they're trying to fix this and they're banging this computer and they're pounding on this and trying to plug this in and out? I could only imagine what they're saying. You know, it would be like one of those cartoons, when they would always have like the X and the O, and like it would be blocked, censored. I can only imagine what's happening in that studio on Long Island right now as they're plugging things in and unplugging it and redialing or pounding on the computer. Believe me, they're not the only ones who have had to do that from time to time. We all have to do that, especially when you're dealing with the internet. But we've learned a few things. We know now that when people call in, if a guest uses an iPhone, they need to update their iPhone first. You know how your computer does automatic updates, or your phone does an automatic update. I have an Android. It automatically updates because I have it scheduled to do that. So if a guest has an iPhone and they don't do it, it creates a weird sort of sound coming from them. But good to see you here, Dave, from New Jersey, a big Jerry Castaldo fan. It's great to have you here, Dave. Welcome, welcome. Some lovity and love to Jerry. From Florida, from Linda. Dante. Dante. I like when it's Dante CD and then Danilo on Facebook. Hello there, Dante CD. You do look in that picture with the hat and with the dog, the cute dog. You look like a Dante CD. I just want to know what the CD is. Is it casting director, perhaps? Good to have you here, and hope you're doing well in San Diego. June says hello to Jerry as well. We're all originally from the New York area. Jerry, myself, June, the New York tri-state area. Kerry is here. Welcome to the show, Kerry. I'm a member of Jerry's. I know he has a little studio audience he's set up. Just people there to sort of watch him do the conversation with me. I had asked him if he was going to perform live, but he said he wasn't going to do any of that, and we don't have any video to show. Otherwise, I would show that as well, of him performing. The storms, again, really did a number, especially over on Long Island, because they sort of get it first and then it comes up. Member of Jerry's studio audience tonight. Right now, the storms have wreaked havoc in our area. He can't get the connection. Studio is beautiful. It's a shame you can't see or hear him. Furthermore, it's a shame you all won't hear his charisma and knowledge. We'll just have to reschedule. The audience is... they're right here with us. Thank you very much, Linda. We appreciate that. And then everybody is. Absolutely. That's fantastic. So we're just going to keep talking. And I don't think Jerry's going to be able to, I can't, answer the cell phone, obviously, right now while I'm doing the show. So we're going to have to pass on that. But good to see everybody here. And how's everybody doing? So I think, Christine, you might get that pop-up show that you wanted. I know he's still trying to connect. We're here. We'll hang out. I hear it click. Let's see if we can get him. I think Jerry's going to be... You're there. You're there. You're there. Welcome. Answer the cell phone, obviously, right now.
I have to make a few audio adjustments and kill the volume in the studio.
Good to see everybody here. And how's everybody?
So hold on one second.
So I think, Christine, you might get that pop-up show that you wanted. All right. I can hear myself talking. That's interesting. It's like a delay. Like a delay.
Okay, 1 second. I'll be right with you.
You. It's only on the internet that you would see things like this. On television and the radio, maybe on stage, not so much. Not that you wouldn't, but it's only in the internet that crazy things like this happen. Isn't it funny?
Oh my God.
Welcome.
Am I here?
I think you're here. Welcome. Have your studio audience clap.
Let's hear you. They're all giving me dirty looks because they drove in thinking they were going to see a show. And let me just say what's going on here. My apologies because of the storm. There was a lot of technical stuff.
Sure.
Didn't want to cancel. I try to make it work. So I'm broadcasting on my cell phone, but I have a $2,000 microphone in front of me, non-working, about $3,000 worth of soft boxes. You know what those are, Jim.
Mm-hmm.
And a $3,000 Canon XF100 video camera that's not working. But the phone is here. Again, my apologies.
You should have used your cheap webcam and cheap mic from JCPenney.
The Logitech 922.
The Ron Popeil Mr. Microphone. You should have used that.
Well, thank you again for your patience.
My pleasure, my pleasure. So I was telling the audience, which was funny, I could only imagine what is being said in that studio as you're hitting the computers and plugging things in and out.
You
And
don't want me to repeat that.
that's all the censor stuff. Let's toast while you got your cup there. And we usually like to do our toast. So welcome to the show, Jerry. Better late than never, right? Good things come to those who wait, right? So aside from this and the storms, how have you been? How you've been getting through all of this craziness of the pandemic and just everything that's going on in the last few months?
Well, I've been fortunate enough to have been doing a lot of shows for healthcare workers.
Which is beautiful.
So, hospital parking lots, assisted living parking lots. This Wednesday night, I'll be at the sprawling Heath Village, which is in beautiful Hackettstown, New Jersey. And that's an outdoor show. It's a big retirement community. So I usually do about 300 shows a year. I've been logging that for about 29 years in a row. And now, since March, I've done maybe 20 to 30 shows, and mostly for healthcare workers and residents of long-term care.
That's beautiful. That is fantastic. That's really nice because, again, a lot of times those are the forgotten, right? The people who are out there on the front lines, taking care of things, making sure that everybody's getting what they need. They're often forgotten, right?
Well, what's really heartbreaking is that with the isolation a lot of people are going through, people are singing through windows and visiting through windows. In the studio tonight, to my left, is Jerry Castaldo Sr., who drove out here from Staten Island, New York. And I think a little later we may have a quick cameo. He may peek in.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah, my dad's been driving me around doing shows since I'm about 12 years old. We had a rock band in Brooklyn, did a lot of block parties and things like that. And he stuck with me right through it all. And he's right here. How old are you now, Dad? 90? Oh, 90 years old.
90. Wow. God bless him, huh?
Not yet.
Not yet? When's the actual birthday?
February 8th. And he lives alone in Staten Island, drives himself here. Going home, it'll be dark. He doesn't exactly see everything, but he watches the line.
Yeah, looks for the curbs, right? But it's beautiful to have him there. So is everybody sort of like 6 feet apart? Did you have to do measuring tape and all that?
Yes. They all have masks on. They're 6 feet apart. I have my girlfriend Caroline here. And Dave Antonow is a renowned bassist, guitarist, multi-horn player, and arranger who performs with several different groups, including Eric Mintel's. And now your new group is named what?
The Carrie Blue Band.
The Carrie Blue Band, because Carrie Blue is sitting right next to him, and she's an excellent vocalist who I have seen live, and I'm looking forward to seeing them live again.
It's too bad we can't hear any of them. Can they belt anything out?
Belt something out, Carrie.
Happy birthday to Dad.
That's in February. But it's just, I tried to put this set together so we would have a great broadcast tonight. And am I coming through okay on the phone?
You're coming through. Yeah. Is the phone charged up too?
Weird. Can you see my nostril hairs?
I
want to look as good as I could look. So you put everything
for
together.
$9,000, I would hope.
More than that, yeah.
Oh, my God.
I have like a 2,000 square foot studio in Western New Jersey. I moved out of Brooklyn to Manhattan and then fled for Hunterdon County, New Jersey.
So you're in Jersey. I don't know why I always thought you were on Long Island. You're in Jersey.
Yeah, New Jersey's western part, Hunterdon County, really beautiful. Dave grew up here, so he's used to, playing in cornfields as a teenager, as opposed to where I was in Brooklyn on the streets as a teenager. But it's so beautiful here, very quiet.
Yeah.
Some bear walking around. You got to be a little careful. I run through the woods and I carry my little air horn.
Yeah.
Startle the poor little things or the poor big things, but they're 350 pounds, so you have to be a little careful. Now, I just want to say hello to Judy Worski. Are you out there, Judy? I think I saw her name.
Judy.
You couldn't resist, yeah.
That's it.
But Judy's
Hi,
been a
Uncle
fan
Cos.
and a friend.
Ryan, we see
His name's
hi,
Judy.
Uncle Cos.
Oh, my father's alias is Cos, C-O-S. Now,
There
his
you
name is Giro Castaldo. My name is Giro Castaldo, but I use Jerry, and he has 3 aliases. Nobody calls him Giro except the IRS. So his name is Cos, C-O-S, Junior, because he's the youngest of 13 children that my Italian grandmother started popping out kids when she was 13 years old.
Just about, right?
Isn't that illegal?
Yes.
And what Jerry Giro Cos Jr. and an inmate. Yeah.
My mother's the youngest of 16, and there's only 20 years difference between the oldest and the youngest.
Really? 16?
Can you imagine
So
that?
wait a minute. That sounds like an Italian family. So Masters is
No.
not an
Masters is English. That's the father's side. Masters is English, and my father's family came from England. My father's mother's side came from Ireland. My mother's side, English, Swedish, and French.
Wow.
So
I'm thinking of Mastroianni or something.
right, you would big. They're in New England, so that's a big New England. Could have had a baseball team with all of them, right? Judy is here. Kate says Judy is here. Jerry.
Oh, Judy is there. Hi, Judy.
Merlin's
She's
the oldest
great.
of 11. Merlin in Canada.
Really? Wow.
Randy says hi.
Oh, Randy Cass. Oh, hi, Randy. Thanks for sticking around and waiting for me to smooth this out.
That's what it's all about. Francis is here as well.
Oh, Francis.
Jerry.
Franny. Now, Franny, I met at the Villa Roma Resort. I was doing a show there. She was in the audience, and I invited her up to the stage to play tambourine and sing backup on Johnny Be Good because, you know, it's just an easy rock song for people to get the beat. I've been doing it since I'm, 12 years old. I started with that song. So I play lead guitar, and Franny came up, shook a mean tambourine, sang pretty well, and then we've been friends since. She actually came to another show about a year later at the Villa Roma Resort, beautiful resort in upstate Callicoon, New York. And we were actually in the smaller theater. But Franny, I'm hoping to get you on the main stage in the big 900-seater because you'll have room to really let loose.
Our friend June Aspa is here. She says hello.
Hi, June.
She's here
My
as
new
well.
friend June. Hi, June.
Yeah, June is here as well. And Danilo, Mr. Levity. Yeah, yes, they call me Mr. Levity, calling me a mixed breed.
Mixed breed.
That's funny. That is very
I
funny.
also have a 55-inch monitor, actually 2 of them right in front of me, and there's a delay. So I'm squinting to see the little display on the Android, but out of my peripheral vision, I'm sort of out of sync. So it's like I'm almost like I'm drunk.
Peripheral is a word that would be very difficult to say 5 times fast, isn't it?
Well, I'm not going to try.
It's tough to even say once. Did you ever meet Regis? Did you ever know Regis at all? He was a dear friend. And
I believe it or not, when I was about 21 years old,
he was a great guy.
Yeah, I met him at the gym. Remember Jack LaLanne?
Oh, yeah.
They had gyms named Jack LaLanne. And I was an instructor there. I taught aerobics and calisthenics and yoga. I was about 22 years old. It was on the Upper West Side, 73rd Street and Broadway, right near the historic Ansonia Hotel.
Oh, yeah.
Where a lot of actors used to audition. We used to have a lot of auditions in there in the 80s. And Regis, he was working out on something called the Nautilus machines.
Remember those? Oh, yeah.
It was a whole thing like, oh, the Nautilus has, almond-shaped cams, and there's this range of motion all the way around. But, each machine was like 5,000-6,000. But I remember he'd run in just the way he was on stage. He'd run in and go, "Hi, Jerry, you got to get," and he'd do and I'd say, "Regis, you got to do the full range of motion." He'd just pump it like that and then move to the next machine. But really, really friendly, down to earth guy for the few times I saw him in the gym.
Yeah, yeah.
And how did you know him?
I actually knew him for a lot of years because of an association. There he is there with Channel 7, WABC, where he did the show, actually, where they still do the show. with Ryan and Kelly. And
66th Street, right? Broadway.
yeah. And he was, and being, you know, a fellow television host myself, we would always be at various events and just, yeah, he was a great guy, really a terrific, terrific guy. And
remember his first host was it Cindy Garvey?
Cindy Garvey, who was at one time
Steve
married
Garvey's
to Steve
wife.
Garvey. Yeah. Then it was Ann Abernathy for about 10 minutes, and then Kathy Lee, and then
Forgot
Kelly.
about it.
Ann Abernathy.
Did you ever have the chance to meet Storm Field?
Storm from Channel 7 and then 2. No, or his father Frank either, who was
Frank
a legend.
Field, the meteorologist. Storm was a great guy.
When I was vamping a little bit in the beginning, I was telling him about another legendary host, and you had a chance to be on his show, Joe Franklin.
Joe.
Yeah, the best, huh?
Oh, what a character he was. I just loved that guy. He was so...
I got a chance to know him, too, and he was amazing. Did you ever go to his office?
Of course.
That place is a shrine, a museum, a trivia buff's heaven. That place is unbelievable. I don't know how he made himself through. Maybe because he wasn't that tall, he was able to bend down, but to get through all of that.
So many papers and stacks and stacks, and he didn't know where. He says, "Oh, I know where everything is." You can't know where everything is. It was chaos in there, but it was. I don't know. I can't work like that. I have to have everything cleared out.
Everything needs to be sort of organized, right? Exactly. You mentioned about sort of the early years of when you started. You were how old when you started performing again?
Well, I started with the guitar about 10 years old. There I am at 12 years old on the stage of St. John's the Evangelist Grammar School in Park Slope, Brooklyn, for a talent show. And the quick story about that is, of course, they were all nuns. I was raised by a wild pack of nuns, 8 years of grammar school. And I thank my dad, though, for sending me, although he was always in the principal's office. He was in the principal's office.
Yeah.
And they said, your son, Castaldo, he's got the devil in him, that boy. And my father said, what are you talking about? He's a good kid, But we played in that talent show, Sympathy for the Devil by the Rolling Stones.
Oh, yeah.
And we were good. And there were two girls that sang Day by Day from Godspell.
Oh, yeah.
So everybody gave us the applause for first place. But who do you think the nuns gave the first prize to? Godspell.
Yeah.
And I didn't even realize it at that age. I didn't say, oh, Sympathy for the Devil. I just thinking about the song was great,
Right.
I didn't even think about it. I was saying, why then? Oh, that shot. When I was working at New York Health and Racket, right across the street from St. Patrick's Cathedral, behind Saks Fifth Avenue and across from 30 Rock.
Great place to be.
Yeah, it was a great place to teach. I used to teach aerobics there, calisthenics. I was about 23 at that time. And I asked the manager if I could keep my microphone and my little street performance amplifiers in the closet. So I would finish work and I would grab my little hand truck and I'd go up to that corner, which was right across the street from Radio City. And I'd set up every single day. And after a few months, I'd have all the office workers knew me. They'd be like, hey, Jerry, how you doing? And I had my little guitar case out of there. And I was making more money on the sidewalk singing than I was in the health club. And it was, it was good for me because I just could do hours and hours and sing anything I wanted. So that was an experience. And I used to also do Broadway up in 44th Street area, but I had to compete with a lot of, bongo players, and it was just too much up there. So that was my corner.
Exactly. It's a cool shot there, huh?
That's the Deuce and a Half, meaning 2.5 ton truck. Germany. I was with the 92nd Army Air Defense when I was a kid. As a teenager, I joined the Army to, as I write in my book, to escape the Bensonhurst section of Brooklyn. I didn't see the beginning of the show. Did you do a little bio of me, or?
Yes. Yeah, we did the whole thing. Yeah. You've been gloriously introduced.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, by you, it's a pleasure because I've got some notes for you. Let's interview Jim, everybody. Hold on a minute. I've got some notes here. I can't, because I've been watching your show.
I know you're a fan of it. We appreciate that.
First of all, You studied violin, piano, guitar. You played Little League. You went in some kind of ROTC. You have a master's degree in architecture and agricultural architecture. Is that true?
No. I've studied architecture and design. My degree is in communications, broadcasting, television, radio, journalism. Yeah.
Well, you're still amazing.
When I was born with my last name, I was born with a master's degree.
All right. Okay. Hold on a minute. You nominated for an Emmy Award, interviewed all the greats, Kenny Rogers, Carol Burnett, Danny Aiello, who I mentioned in my book.
He's terrific. He was terrific, right? Yeah.
I mean, let's interview you a little bit.
I know. That's happened a couple of times too. It's happened a couple of times. Yeah, I've done
the Howard Stern show. Have you ever listened to Howard?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Excellent interview. Somebody tries to interview him on Letterman or something, he would turn it around and start interviewing Letterman.
That's what happens to. That's what I end up doing. I have a couple of friends of mine that say that my sister is similar, where we'll just have regular conversations with somebody sitting on a train, and our style is like interviewing. We start asking questions. So, oh, how did you feel when that happened? Or why did you decide to do that? What was it like when that happened? And it's like an interview, which people, they like it, but it's just a natural thing because we're curious. We're not nosy, but we're curious because as we ask questions or as I ask questions, I'm learning along with the audience as much as asking the questions. And I like to.
You're really good at it. Let me tell you, because I watched people like Stern from the beginning, and even my own dad would say back in the 80s, that guy, he's dirty. Nobody really got him. I mean, he was a little risque in the early 80s. I was on the show back then, too, because I had worked at the Friars Club. I ran the health club upstairs at the Friars Club. And as I write in my book, I had a few problems, with drugs and alcohol. And Bob Mounty was one of the NBC executives who was portrayed in Howard's movie, Private Parts. Now, I think when Private Parts came out, a lot of women, especially women, they realized that this guy is actually a good father, a good husband. It's a shtick. He was dirty, yeah, but he's mellowed out a lot. And I've noticed his interview style is just free form now. Since he went to Sirius, like, with terrestrial radio, he had those breaks he had to take. He'd be talking to Billy Joel and he'd have to stop for a commercial. Now, something like what you do, you can just go and go when he started over there in 2005. And you remind me a little bit of him. And I mean that as a compliment because he's a great interviewer.
Appreciate that. I've been hearing that too. People have been saying Dick Cavett, Carson, Merv Griffin, Mike Douglas, just in terms of bringing back the art of conversation and really listening to what people are saying and, adding my elements to it, my essence, but giving people an opportunity to really feel comfortable enough, safe enough and comfortable enough to emote and share. And we have a good time with it, as you've seen watching other episodes of the series, which is awesome.
And you remember the first host of The Tonight Show, Jack Paar?
Yeah. Oh, actually, there was one before that.
Was there?
Steve Allen.
Oh, Steve was there too.
Steve
and my dad. You had Steve Allen.
Yeah.
My father did something with Steve Allen.
Steve and then Jack, almost walked off basically, or was done, and then they brought in Carson. Yeah, Carson was awesome. He was one of the best, and always missed. You didn't have this in your the bio there for me, that I like the green M&Ms. Yes, I do.
Yes, I noticed that.
Danny was a great guy. Yeah, Danny Aiello. Yep.
And if you were able to see the whole set here, which I'd love you to see, I brought this with me. Let me pull it over because you have one of these saying something else. What does yours say again? Don't you have one of these? Yeah. Relax. Well, I hope you relax.
These are two things we actually need right now during these times: hope and to relax. So they're perfect, during this. But do you have a doll? Do you have like the George Burns?
I have a doll. I do. Caroline, get over here.
Caroline, get over here. Stat now. Darn it.
She's a live doll.
Bring me a sandwich.
Where's Jimmy? Don't you have Jimmy?
Oh, you want Jimmy? Really?
Yeah.
Well, we
scared the hell out of me the other night.
We've got Jeannie.
You got Jeannie, but Jimmy, isn't Jimmy the clown?
We've got Silver. And
Silver.
we've got a Gilligan coming. Bob Denver's wife is sending me a Gilligan bobblehead. She was our guest last night, Dreamer Denver, who was Bob Denver.
Yeah, I did watch some of it.
Yeah.
She looks great.
There's your Jimmy.
Jimmy, hey.
Hey, that's Jimmy. There you go.
I've seen Jimmy in a couple of nightmares I've had.
He'll fill in if I'm ever out, out of town. That's funny. And Ron, Ron.
Oh, let me say hello to Ron. Ron Mackey is actually my cousin.
Oh, really?
And some of those out there, like Judy, who read my book. Judy, if you'll remember, my cousin Ron, growing up in the same neighborhood as I, had an altercation at one point outside a nightclub, and he was stabbed pretty badly, and he was in Maimonides Hospital in Borough Park. And I remember going there at about 11 o'clock at night and climbing over the fence. I was 17 years old, snuck up to his room, and he had tubes in him. And I visited him, and should I tell the whole story or should I leave some of this out? Because this is
it's in the book.
It's in the book. I'll leave it in the book.
You tell some of it, like tease us.
A nurse came in, and I quickly hid under there, and I could just see her feet, and she goes, "I know you're under there. Come out from there." And there was a lot of smoke flying around the air, so we got out of there. Okay.
So we're gonna do a crew's gonna make a wide shot and tell us what we're seeing around you, the guitars and everything. Take us on a little tour.
That you can get a little wider. That's not as wide as it could be, and I don't want to touch the phone because it'll ruin the whole way I have it teetering on the stand. But those are just two pop-up signs. At this point,
Jerry, don't touch a thing.
Anything.
You could just like turn and say, well, behind me is this guitar, and over here is this.
Well, there's a giant book that was, you can see part of the giant book that was at the Barnes & Noble display I did for an in-store signing. I've got about 7 or 8 guitars here, mostly Gibson Les Pauls, Gibson SG. Don't be looking at my guitars, Dave. Dave is like eyeing the guitar. No, but I have a Taylor that I just picked up in Florida a couple of months ago. A Martin D28, which is your classic guitar that they used in the Broadway show once. And when I did a music video from that show of Falling Slowly, I wanted to have the same guitar. So, basically everything's around, and I'm hoping that sometime in the future you can have a full set here when I have something else to say in about 5 years or so.
And then maybe you can perform and do something, right? When it's because the storm came through, and the storm really, were you guys out of power for a while?
Out, on, and then out again. And again, I didn't want to say, I want to cancel. I tried, and I did a lot of testing yesterday, but it would have been nice. But amazingly, this little camera that's in the phone looks okay at this resolution. It's just that I would have liked to use, this microphone and sound deeper and more sexy.
So the mic that you're using now, the audio is coming from the actual phone?
Yeah, that's the microphone in the phone, as opposed to what I wanted to use, which is a Neumann TLM 103.
Oh,
this is actually what Howard uses, Howard Stern on the show.
Yeah.
You still with us?
So you mean you didn't want to sound like this on the cell phone? You wanted to sound like this.
Yeah.
Oh, we get it. We know. Just can you drop your voice an octave? Hello, Jim. Good to see you tonight.
That's when I sing the Barry White stuff. But it's like, it's just so like, take off that brassiere, my dear. No, that's not that kind of show.
Our guest tonight is Jerry Castaldo.
You got to have fun, right? You got to laugh, especially with all the crazy stuff that's been going on.
Your show has been great. It's really nice, and we're making the best of what it was. I had a whole outline here. I wanted to talk about a few things. I'm jumping around. Do you have any other questions for me that you think your guests might be?
Well, if you guys have any questions, feel free to shoot. But I do want you to take us through that wonderful timeline via these photos that you were gracious enough to send us from your own personal photo album, and that can take us through some of it too. How about this one here, Jerry?
Okay, that is a scene from The Owl and the Pussycat. And there was a very well-known Manhattan agent who booked, handled a lot of Broadway actors, Louis Chambers. And he represented me for a while back, I guess about 10 years ago. He's no longer with us, unfortunately, but he had been trying to get me on Boardwalk Empire because for some reason he thought I had the right lingo and body language. And I don't know why he would think that. Oh, but I didn't even watch Boardwalk Empire until he wanted to try to get. So he wanted me to do this scene from The Owl and the Pussycat to demonstrate to those casting directors, which obviously did not work because I was never on the show.
You were never on the show.
But he was a great guy, and that's where that emanated from.
On the road with 60s superstar Lou Christie.
Lou Christie, Lightning Strikes, the Gypsy Cried, and what was the other one? There was one more big hit he had.
Is that Dad? Is that Dad that's giving you all of the memories when you turn to the left? Is that Dad remembering you what you did, reminding you of what you did? Is he the one with the good memory?
I have a cramp in my neck. I just have to keep going.
God bless Dad.
To my left.
God bless Cos.
I was just thinking. While I was talking to you, I was daydreaming. I was saying, "Wait a minute, how the hell is he going to get out of that chair to get over here later?" Maybe Dave, he can roll you right over, right? Yeah, I told him I went through. Sure. You mind it? Hey, Dad, come on over here. Say hello to Jim and the audience for a minute. Come on over here. Hold on a minute. We just pull the forklift over there. Just
the forklift. The forklift.
This is Jerry Castaldo Sr., former dock worker on the Brooklyn waterfront, under the Brooklyn Bridge, was in the movie On the Waterfront as an extra. Yeah, sit down over here, Dad. Say hello. Jim, get in there.
You carry the same name. Get in there. I like that. Get in there.
How you doing, Jim?
How are you, sir? How are you?
Pleased to meet you.
Oh, I'm pleased to meet you. Welcome to the show. Are you proud of Jerry and all of his accomplishments?
I couldn't be any more proud.
Yeah,
he done everything he had to do.
Right.
And, I'm 110% for him.
What was he like as a kid?
And I'm just proud of him for everything he does.
What was he like as a kid growing up there in Brooklyn? Was he a good kid? Did he listen?
Excuse me?
What was he like as a kid? Was he a good kid growing up? Did he listen to you?
Excellent.
Jerry, have you rehearsed him?
That's a lie.
He's reading teleprompter.
That's why I'm paying all his bills.
It's nice. How are you? How are you getting through all this craziness we've been going through lately?
Very good.
That's good.
Yeah. He said his ears are clogged. Hold on a minute. 1 second. That's disgusting.
I tell you. I hope everybody had dinner already. So do you
terrible. My picture looks terrible.
Hey Jim, you just said that picture looks terrible.
You guys look bad, huh?
Get me off of there, will you?
That's you. That's you. And here's a full screen of you.
Look over here, Dad. He's looking at the 55-inch monitor, but he's out of sync.
I see. I look a little better in that one. Yeah.
In the other monitor, I'm still cleaning his ears.
Oh, the other monitor has the delay. So did you guys grow up Brooklyn Dodger fans?
Yes, I always right.
Yeah.
Well, let me just interject and say that my father was a professional baseball player. He pitched for the New York Giants before they went out to California for the New York Giants farm team. And you played on, 3 different teams in Florida, right?
Just about, yeah, right. I played for about 7 years, on and off.
And they would just drive from state to state on this bus and play baseball. And he didn't have a glove. It was 1955. I actually Googled his name, and you can find his ERA. It's like amazing who's inputting that stuff online. But he did pitch, and he decided, though, what? You got homesick? You wanted to come back to Brooklyn, right?
Yeah, my family troubles. My mother was sick. My father. You know, Jerry was a good ball player too. You know, I was teaching him how to throw a ball, and he did very good at baseball. But he said, "Dad, I want to be a singer." I said, "You be what you want to be, but if you're not good, the people are going to let you know."
Right.
But he got this far, and I'm very proud of him. And so if he needs something to be paid for, I told him I'll take care of it.
Oh my God,
he actually was a good coach, and I wound up playing Little League. Actually, was like a little bit of a star Little League, and then I pitched for Brooklyn Tech High School for a while, and I probably could have gotten scouted, or I just loved the music too much, and I wanted to stay with the band.
Absolutely.
And, that's why me and Dave Antonow are where we are now.
Well, my father, always a Brooklyn Dodger fan, and then when the Dodgers left the city, went with the Mets.
Me too.
The Mets. Yeah. So I'm Mets as a result of my father. Yeah.
And where's your father from?
Astoria, originally. Astoria, Queens. Wow. Yeah, Astoria.
So
grew up right around from, you knew Tony Bennett.
Telly neighborhood.
Tony Bennett. Yeah.
Tony Bennett too.
You knew Tony Bennett. Yeah. Beautiful area over there too. A lot of shops and bakeries. And
I've been traveling with Jerry for like 30 years with all his shows.
30, try 40.
Not 40. You weren't that old, are you?
I was in Florida doing a show. Here's a quick story, and then we're gonna.
You guys never thought of going on the road together?
Yeah, I mean, he came with me to a show in Florida, right? And after the show, I always tell him, "Don't lie about my age. I'm not going to lie about my age. I don't want to pretend I'm younger than I am. I'm in good shape. I'd rather say." So after the show, there's a bunch of people around him, and there's a bunch of people in a separate group around me, and some woman comes marching over, and she goes, "How old are you?" And I was like 53 at the time. So I said 53. She goes, "Your father said you're 40, And I said, "You see, that's what you get when you lie. Just tell the truth."
I make him younger, and he makes me older.
Isn't it funny how that works? It happens in reverse, right? So do you live near each other or with each other?
He's in Staten Island, and I'm in Hunterdon County, New Jersey. So it's about an hour.
So you drove over to Jersey from Staten Island to be with him?
Yeah. Yeah, I've been driving with Jerry with like 30, 40, like you said. Yeah.
30.
Anyway, I'm very proud of my son. He's a good guy, and I'm for him 100%. Make that 110.
110.
Anyway, we're going to take you back to your chair. Is that okay?
Yeah, I think I'll get up on my own.
Tell us, before you take him back, what did your dad do? What was his living and career? What did your dad do?
Oh, tell him about the docks.
I worked on the waterfront a little bit, and that's why I got a broken back today. But that was the phenomenon.
Wait a minute. That's not the interesting story, Jim. He was a bookie. When I was 6, I write about this in my book. When I was about 6,
I saw that
7 years old, he would have all these little pieces of yellow paper, and he'd take me down the docks near the Brooklyn Bridge, and he'd walk fast. I couldn't keep up with him. I'm like a little kid. And where's he going? And he'd go in the bathroom and start hiding these little pieces of paper behind the mirror, behind the toilet. I didn't know what he was doing, but you were a bookie.
Just a few numbers.
Just a few numbers here and there. Exactly right. Exactly. My father used to play.
Make ends meet. That's about it. Whatever.
My father used to play in Astoria. He played roller hockey for a team called the Astoria Maple Leafs when roller hockey was big, and was part of the PAL, the Police Athletic League baseball team. And they used to shoot dice on the city streets. Dice. Back then, that's what they did. And my grandfather, when the Masters family came over from England, they owned jewelry stores in Manhattan. But my grandfather, my father's father, worked in the Brooklyn Navy Yards.
Wow, the Brooklyn Navy Yards.
The Brooklyn Navy Yards. Yeah. That goes back. Oh, same name too. I'm the 5th James Master.
So you're working class family, because I thought you were like upper crust. You give that impression, upper crust.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. They work hard. Yeah, they worked hard when they came over from Europe. They worked really.
Why are you giggling? I hear you laughing. The studio audience is laughing. I don't know why.
The studio audience. 4 people
You
in a
can't
midget.
see.
4
You can't
people
see
in a
me.
midget.
Now you can't see me below the waist, but right now my legs are split so wide that I can't take it another second. So I'm
Are,
going to bring my dad.
these people that you dragged out of Stop and Shop and they left their carts there? Come in. I need you to come into my den. I've got a show in an hour. You're paying
Oh my
me
God,
$5 each.
We've done that in Manhattan. Remember Spirits? On
Yeah,
46th
right.
Street and Broadway, I did like a 6-month run back in the late 80s.
Yeah.
And my father, my mother, my stepfather, my girlfriend, we'd all be on the corner just handing out flyers,
Yeah.
come on into the show, come on into the show. So we've been at it a long time. And I just feel very fortunate to have made a living, especially the last 28 years in a row. Never been out of work, 300 shows a year. Before that, they were always spotty. Coming out of the cabaret community in Manhattan, it was good to get reviews from New York Post cabaret critic Kirk Davis, who unfortunately is not with us anymore, and my New York Times reviews. But there wasn't a lot of money to be made in Manhattan unless you were a name. So
Right.
if you were Eartha Kitt or Maureen McGovern, which I was in the same club as those two, Freddie's Supper Club on 49th Street and First Avenue back in the 80s, I was happy to be there, but you couldn't really make money in that cabaret community industry, which I also write about in the book. And I'm not putting them down because a lot of them look at me and go, well, but I was able to leave and go on the road, and I'm able to get paid for what I do. And that's made me a living, and I was able to buy a house. And, I feel very fortunate and very happy. And this is a tough time for all of us, non-performers and performers, but I believe that there are better times ahead.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Christine Fairwood says, "Ha ha! My grandfather was a bookie."
Yeah, really?
Who said that, Jeff?
One of the women that are watching you right now just wrote in.
She's watching in Connecticut. Yeah.
Oh my God.
And Francis says, yeah, Francis.
All right, that's it.
Francis says, "Way to go, Jerry and Dad. Dad
All
is
right.
traveling, so good to see you both. Yes, he's a good guy. Thanks for making me smile seeing you both and all the reminders. Love, Franny."
Oh, that's Franny. Remember Franny on the stage at Villa Roma?
And Christine says, "You're probably doing the show in the back of your shoe store."
How dare you, Christine?
Christine Fairwood.
She also, Renee in Iowa says, "You both look alike."
Well, how dare you again?
So who looks like who? How dare you again?
Yeah, hold on a minute.
I
This
would
is
say,
bad. I have not been exposed to many people, and I know you've been staying home. So just to let you know out there that I'm not exposing my dad to anything bad.
well,
I've
you
been very
still
careful.
live in your father's basement, right? That's what it said in the bio.
That's it. Good night, everybody.
Maxine says her love, and she sends a heart. Maxine.
Thank you, Maxine.
Yeah. Jerry's dad is a little hottie, according to Kerry.
Carrie, she's right over here.
You notice, Jerry, your dad heard that one. He definitely heard that one.
Yeah, I know. His ears got better all of a
Yeah.
sudden.
Suddenly.
What do you mean, yeah?
Anyway, Jim, it's a pleasure talking
Absolutely.
to you, and
You as well.
hope
you.
we'll talk later on again.
Absolutely. Anytime. You got some smiles coming from Willie. She is in the Netherlands, in Europe, and Holland. And she says, "Smiles for Daddy." Yeah.
That's Kerry, right?
Yeah.
How you doing?
And that was from Willie in Holland in the Netherlands.
Hi, Willie.
Yeah. And
I
Jennifer,
recognize your viewers out there.
Jennifer's
Okay, my love
asking.
to all Jerry's fans or whatever. And
Absolutely.
nice talking to you, Jim.
You as well, sir. Thanks for being with us.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Dave is coming over to retrieve my dad.
Jennifer asks Jerry, "Have you ever gone to Woo Hop on Mott Street in Chinatown, the Chinese restaurant?"
You know what? That sounds very familiar, but no, I haven't. I guess she has.
I'm waiting for her to ask the question she always asks. I'm surprised she hasn't asked it yet, unless I missed it. She always asks, what do you prefer of all the guests, the mountains or the ocean? I'm an ocean person because I grew up, on Long Island and, along the southern New England coast.
I'm a mountain guy. I actually live on top of a hill about 400 feet above sea level.
I would say where you are now, yeah.
Well, I lived in an apartment building in Brooklyn, and I used to go up on the roof a lot. I had a nice view of Manhattan 2 miles away, and I'd go up there and sing. And I always thought about living in a country setting because, the streets are a lot different. And when I came out here, it was just so beautiful. I came out here to do a show at a country club in Clinton, New Jersey. And I started looking for a house a few years later, and I wound up moving here, and it's really nice. It's I'm a Capricorn. I don't know what that means. I'm a goat. I'm looking for a mountain. So I found my mountain.
You found your mountain, the top of the mountain, the top of the heap, like Sinatra said. So tell us about the book, the memoir. What inspired you to write this book that you penned, and how long did it take to actually put it all down? Did you write it yourself? Did you have a ghostwriter? Tell us about the inner workings of the creation of the book, Jerry.
Well, let me start by first saying I wrote it myself, and I'll go into details in a minute, but Chip DeFa, who was a New York Post cabaret and jazz critic and a noted author himself who had written about 6, 7, or 8 different books on the subject of jazz, and also had a couple of his own plays produced in Korea and around the States here, Princeton graduate. He had ghost written a book for David Cassidy, Jack Cassidy's son, and better known as the Partridge Families.
Yeah.
Good-looking kid. I think all the girls had his poster, in the 70s.
And we just lost him maybe a couple of years ago, David.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. I saw it.
Yeah.
And he had actually written the book as a ghostwriter for David. So his name wasn't on the book. But in my case, I wrote the book. My mother, who is not with us anymore, worked as a proofreader for the Attorney General in Manhattan, and I would write, I would send her, she would send it back, and then I would send it to Chip DeFa, and he would, as he put it, untangle some things, switch something around. And I didn't always take his advice. Sometimes I didn't agree, but for the most part, he helped me. But I wrote it myself. It took about 6 months of compiling the notes because it was just I used literally 30 to 40% of my notes because I said, who cares about Jerry Castaldo? I'm not a celebrity. Nobody's going to care. People's attention spans are so short these days. So I kept the book as fast-paced and brief as I could at like 220 pages.
You're not a celebrity. Oh my God, we're going to have to eliminate all the promos that we did.
Well, I mean, in the sense of a show business world, So this book surprised the heck out of me because it wound up getting 50 reviews on Amazon, 100 reviews, then 200, 300, 400, and they were all 5-star reviews. And it really made me think that I could have used much more of the notes that I didn't use. And that sort of bummed me out a little, but that's all I thought at the time. So I had 6 months to compile the notes and another 6 months to write it. And, once it was out, it was very surprising to me how well, I was a little worried about the content because I was basically confessing. And the only reason, in answer to your question, why I wrote it is I would tell some stories from the book to friends and they would howl with laughter. Oh my God, that's crazy, but it's funny. You should write a book. So after a couple of years of hearing that, I know a lot of people say that, oh, I should write a book. I should write a book. But I felt I had some substance there, and I did. And surprisingly, it was as strong as I thought it would be. But it's also a confession. I grew up in a neighborhood where it was kind of rough and tumble, like you said. And, I got addicted to drugs and alcohol. I wound up in Rikers Island. I always felt like I was a good kid, but, I want to play baseball. I want to play my music. But I was frightened because there was a bad element. Some of the kids were older than me, and a lot of people dying, getting shot, getting stabbed, getting sliced up. including me, that the only way I can go out on the streets every day and participate, because I couldn't stay home. My dad, as much as I love him, you know, he had his own thing going on, being a bookie, and he met a stripper, and he wound up leaving the family to go with this stripper who was how many years younger than you? 30 years younger than him. So I didn't see him for a while. And then I stopped singing for about 3 or 4 years
With
because
everything that you just described, you could have been a soap opera actor.
yeah, right. Well, it's a soapy kind of, yeah. And it was just it was a scary time for me. So the drugs, mostly barbiturates. Remember Valley of the Dolls? They were mostly eating Secanols and Tuinols. Those drugs aren't around anymore, but those were called gorilla biscuits in Brooklyn, New York, because they would give you, you know, I don't want to say it on air, but you know, you wouldn't be afraid of anything. You'd take those pills, you'd go out and, you know, gang fights, whatever you had to do, you weren't afraid. And when I had enough of that and unsuccessfully many times could not stop the drugs, I said, United States Army is calling me. Off to Europe I went, and I thought that would save me. It did get me out of the neighborhood, but it did not save me, as I write in the book, because, you know, you can't just say, okay, I'm going to stop all that stuff. You still have, you know, repercussive addiction. And
it got you out of the neighborhood.
Right.
But did the neighborhood get out of you?
Well, it got me out of the neighborhood because I'd have these kids come into my window at 3 a.m. going, you know, I try to stay away from them, get a job. You know, I worked in Jersey City loading freight trains for a while. I was happy to work. My father got me a little car when I was 17 years old, a little jalopy. And I was proud to go to work. But these kids like, well, come on, you know, and it's almost like there's like peer pressure. And it's almost like, you know, you go out and they're, come on, we're going to do burglaries tonight. And it's just hard to get away. And I know a lot of other kids probably experienced this, but I think the Army was good because it took me right away. I wanted discipline. I wanted to get in shape. I wanted to stop smoking. I wanted to stop drinking. I wanted to stop doing drugs. I went to South Carolina. I went to basic training. It was great. Went to Europe. It was great. Got to start playing music again with the USO. But again, the addiction was still there for another 10 years. So as I write in the book, came back here and there were some frightening chapters in there.
Yeah. And when you were writing it, was it like therapy? Was it cathartic for you or was it painful to relive some of this as well?
Well, that's what you always hear, right? You watch these talk shows and they go, oh, it was cathartic. And I don't know if it was cathartic. I just know that, you know, some of the stories were funny because they're just ridiculous. Like for instance, one of my friends wanted to take off from work at Aiello's. Danny Aiello's cousins owned this supermarket in Bensonhurst. So the kid didn't want to go to work. So he came to my house and he said, look, I want to stay with my girlfriend. Can you stab me in the leg? You know, and I don't know why I said yes, but we went into the schoolyard and, you know, I got the knife and then I explained in the book, because I used to tell the story and it's kind of funny. You'd hold on to the fence and I didn't do it hard enough and he's going, ow, 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 ow. Then I did it too hard and then there's blood coming out. So those are kind of amusing, even though they're sick stories, but there are some very tragic and sad stories. You know, like the diving head first to the subway tracks at Union Square subway station in Manhattan and breaking my neck and my knee and having a helicopter bring me from the VA hospital to the Manhattan hospital, almost winding up on a ventilator and a wheelchair for the rest of my life. You know, those are tragic stories. And while I was writing them, in answer to your question, I know it took me a while to get to it. Yeah, painful, but it's there anyway. You're always thinking about your past experiences in life anyway. So what's the difference if you pour it out, you know, with a pen?
How did any of that enhance who you are in terms of being an entertainer and the comedic aspect of you, the way that you work with your audience? I mean, those are some really rich experiences you've had in many different directions. So how would you say that enhanced, actually, as opposed to if you had sort of a vanilla, you know, existence? having to deal with all these kinds of streetwise situations, how does it actually enhance your storytelling, your comedy, and your performance?
Well, one of the things that really helped with was not being afraid of an audience. Because when I was a kid, I'd play in a band and you feel safe because you're with 4 other guys, and maybe the attention's not on you. But when I start doing solo stuff and going out into these clubs in Manhattan, I had no fear whether or not I was good. I figured I'd get better. I had no formal training. I just did it. And I remember thinking, with what I've been through, hitting the head with hammers and in Rikers Island, then I was scared. But I'm going to be scared to go on stage and tell some jokes or sing a song and worry somebody's going to go, oh, he sucks. So that sort of helped me in a way, not worrying about, stage fright, let's say. And with the amount of shows I've done in all these years, that's not an issue anymore. But on a more deep level, in answer to your question of how it's molded me and shaped me, it's just given me, I think I just care about people. I really care. And my father too. I mean, I got this from my parents. He's a rough guy. He's been around. I've done some things I'm not proud of. People that read the book see that, but I've always cared and I still care. And I appreciate so much where I am today. I'm not a millionaire. I don't have the notoriety of, a major star, but I don't care where I sing. And that's why I'm able to do 300 shows a year. If it's the Villa Roma, fine. If it's a corporate event, fine. If it's an assisted living, fine. If it's for healthcare workers, I just care that I would like everybody to have a good time. And I don't go out there with an ego like, well, look at me. I'm a singer. I did 8,000 shows in the last 28 years. No, it's more like, this song is great. Listen to this song. It's fun, when we do it together. And I just feel like I want people to have a good time. I have a good time. And I'm just so grateful not to have a noose around my neck, literally, because that's another story in the book, where I can enjoy my life, enjoy my career. And again, this is an odd time for all of us. So we're hoping that next year at this time, this is just a bad memory.
Francis asks, Jerry, in regards to the book, writing it down, did it help you feel better about yourself?
That's sort of like what I just said in a way. I didn't really feel better about you can actually feel worse about yourself because you're remembering all the crappy things you did. I mean, I was at the bottom. I'm talking about, I stole my mother's television at one point. I'm sorry you have to hear that from here, Dad. But I mean, that's how bad I was. I mean, let me tell you a quick story. I had a PA system that I'd use for the shows. And at one point, my mother saw that I was starting to sell these pieces of equipment to get drugs. And she had locked up one of the PA speakers in the trunk of her car. And then her and my aunt said, Jerry, take a ride to the mall with us in Staten Island. So I'm in the back seat. I'm about 21 years old. And I'm thinking, how can I get this speaker out of the trunk so I can go to the pawn shop and I can buy some drugs? So as we're getting into Staten Island, they're not taking me to the Staten Island Mall. They're taking me near South Beach Psychiatric. It's like this big psychiatric place. And my mother's going, you see the people? You see how nice they're walking around there on the benches? I'm like, oh my God, they're trying to have me committed. So fast forward to 10 years ago, I'm about 50. That same psychiatric place that has an in-house rehab did a mass buy of my book. They bought 75 books and they made the book required reading for that and 6 other New York State rehabs that they operate. And one of the women there, the directors, had called me after she did this. She said, Jerry, it's so heartening. I walk down the hall in the morning after chow and everybody's sitting in the hallway on the floor reading your book. And it made me cry, really, because it made me think, wow, I exposed myself. I showed where I was, where I am now. And maybe those people are saying, hey, he did it. Why can't I do it? you know. So that was a nice story. And in answer to Franny, no, it did not make me feel better about myself.
Yes, again, did
Hold
you,
on, Dad has a question. Yes?
Remember the time you made the collection when I?
Oh, forget it.
she's
We
asking,
might tell that later.
Francis is asking again, some of the things that you did during those times, did you do it to try to get attention and maybe love from the parents?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, I believe that anybody who's suicidal or attempts suicide and fails, I believe there is some element of wanting attention. So I'm not going to sit here and lie and say, no, I didn't want attention. I was just, no, I wanted attention. I wanted, my dad maybe, because he had left for a few years. Maybe I wanted to show him, look at how much pain I'm in. Look at how I'm destroying myself. Or my mother, my dad was gone. I was 15 years old. My mother got a guy named John, his boyfriend, who was only 8 years older than me. So I'm 15 years old. My brother's 14. This guy's 23. And I wake up in the morning and my mother's bedroom door is shut. And me and my brother are looking at each other going, that guy is in there, So it's kind of traumatic. So, we went on and this guy eventually married my mother and we came to love him deeply. His name is John. And he's been in my life now 45 years. So my mother passed away 18 months ago. And all the time they were together, he walked the straight and narrow. He worked at a job. He recently retired. He has a beautiful home with a pool in Staten Island. And I was worried because he also had some drug addiction problems. But he looked at me and my mother said, Jerry can do it. You can do it. So he did it. And when my mother first died, I thought that he would maybe relapse, but he didn't. So for the last 18 months, he's been fine. Let's fast forward to this, time, this pandemic. And starting right about April, the neighbors in Staten Island started calling me and telling me that he has, it's just terrible. I hate to even say it, but this is reality. I love the guy, but he has prostitutes in there. He has homeless people in there. He's got, just the dregs of society in there. And he started withdrawing money from the bank. Now, I always help them with their finances. And I've watched 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, 7,000. Since May the 8th, $18,500 have been spent on crack and heroin. He's overdosed twice. He doesn't answer my text anymore. I mean, I took care of this guy. I love this guy. 6 months ago, he was at my house out here. We worked. He helped me in this studio. We put this floor down. But the drugs have taken such a hold of him again. He spent his life savings. He got $5,000 from somewhere. That lasted 2 days. He's got Social Security and a pension. And every check that comes in, he spends it all. And I'm watching these bills. Con Ed just put them on it. So basically what I'm saying is this house is going to be gone probably within the year, 6 months. So this is a clear story of how insidious and how crazy drug addiction could be with somebody who was sober all those years. And he's 70 years old. He's got diabetes. He's not the healthiest guy. I really feel like he's not going to be alive much longer. So these are the kind of things that are so traumatic to people that, when I was young, it might send me out. I might go, but I just look at it, I say, thank God I'm not there. So I love the guy to this day. I hope that, the only thing I'll do for him now is offer him rehab. I've made plenty of phone calls to the VA. I've talked to them and they're willing to let me bring him into the Manhattan VA for a 7-day detox and then a 30-day in program. I told him I'd lock the house up. You get rid of these people. I already tried it 2 months ago. I changed his phone number. And like 2 days later, they were back in his car. And it's just a horrible thing. And the reason I told that story is because it just shows you how low you can go, even though when you think you're safe. So it doesn't matter that I'm sober for 30 years. It does not matter. I can turn around tomorrow.
Exactly. Some beautiful comments, coming in here. They say it's very hard. Francis said, well, Jerry, I'm happy you're still here and be able to call you a friend. And that's a beautiful comment. And Mary Bishop says you should feel so proud of yourself for staying clean and you know, following the right path. Christine Clifton, very touching stories and inspirational, yet sad. Sharing your story in your book can help others. And that's part of what you want to do, isn't it, Jerry? Is you hope that people aren't just, you know, reading the book for all of these kinds of details, but they're with some positivity and to help other people, right?
But I don't want to sound like a phony, because a lot of people say that, and I'm not saying they're phonies. It just makes it sound like at the last chapter of my book, I really said, if this book could help even one person, you know, I'm grateful. But as I was writing it, I was saying, who's going to believe this crap? Oh yeah, if this could save one person. But I kind of really mean it. And when I think of that New York State organization that has the 6 or 7 rehabs that did a mass buy of my book, I said, wow, it really did happen. And it does make me feel better. So, you know, but I did feel uncomfortable writing that, because I thought, oh, people are going to say he's full of it, you know.
So you're going to play a song now? Actually, yeah, of course, it was a natural couple. I think it was Franny that did ask, why don't you play something for us, sing something? She asked that question.
Franny, I would love to do it, but you got to understand, I'm mortified just doing this interview on a phone, sitting amongst all of this expensive equipment. You know, I want to look my best.
like you did back in Atlantic City.
Oh, look at that. Now that's in the middle of a spin. That's like one of my, I don't know. I started doing it, and in the beginning I used to fall sometimes, but the audience, ooh, but it was good, you know. So now I could do about 4 or 5 rotations if I have the right shoes on and if the floor is slippery enough. So sometimes my father will say, did you wax your soles?
Did you? He's got a good sense of humor, because otherwise you might just fly off the stage, right?
Yeah, that's Century Village, West Palm Beach, Florida, 1996. Yeah, I just, you know what the thing about me is, I don't think I'm the greatest singer in the world. I believe I know how to put a song over, and I know the subtext, which I learned in cabaret, but I don't have the voice like, you know, Whitney Houston, who I used to see at Sweetwater's in the beginning.
Amazing voice, yeah.
You know, with her mother, I used to say, Whitney, that's an odd name, but you know, so I don't have that voice. So the whole thing is, don't be boring. You know, you use the song, pick a good song, perform it in the right key. You know, spend out, you know, get the right key so you can sing it at the strongest. Dance, you know, joke with the people, be quick, don't be boring. That was my, you have your mantra, that's my mantra. Don't be boring.
Master's mantras. Yeah. Franny says, come on, you're copping out by not singing something. Right. She's challenging you. She says, you can sit, sing, and play.
No.
She's challenged.
Franny, I'm not going to do it, baby.
Franny, he's not going to do it, baby.
Who loves you, baby? He's from Astoria.
That's Telly Savalas. Yes, Kojak. I just like hanging out with Jim and Jerry. Awesome. That's Jennifer Barrett.
Is that Jennifer?
Oh, yeah. Now Jennifer Roberts says, sing, Jerry.
Oh, Jennifer Roberts is a very well-known cabaret singer.
Yes, she is. She's watched our show in the past. And can you sing a sentence or something? I don't know. So they can hear your voice? I don't know. They're asking. They want to hear, I guess, the voice a little bit. I don't know. A sentence?
Oh, Dad, would you? He doesn't sing. He learned that shit.
Berlin in Canada is now saying you're chicken. Look at this. She's saying you're. What have we started here? Ooh.
Well,
you know what it is? Because you're surrounded by the equipment. It's teasing them. The guitars. They see it all. And they're like, how can he?
That's my cue to call it a night.
Yeah, when they start doing that, right? I think you sing great. This is Franny. I tuned in, special to hear you, just like you had me play, and now you want me to play for 900 people. That's Franny.
Well, Franny, when the Villa Roma opens up again for the bigger shows, is that Ron Mackey up there? Hi, Ron.
That's Ron. I see goes, memories. And Jennifer's thanking you for the compliment, Jennifer Roberts. Now they're saying twist your arm. Renee and I, you even got Renee in Iowa saying twist.
Okay, I'll do it. I'm not doing it. Why did I just suddenly become the lion from the Wizard of Oz?
Tell a couple of jokes. Yes, that's right. I know they're all the audiences, the viewers are funny. I understand.
Listen, I got to get my father back to the box. I mean, back to his. Yeah, Ron, that's on a delay, Dad. But you know, I do want to thank you for having me. You know, it was really tough getting this together tonight, but I'm glad we were able to at least get the phone working.
The phone worked.
Again. So embarrassed.
Couple more photos we have here. You were very involved, which is a very beautiful cause, especially now because it's so needed, Jerry. The Actors Fund.
The Actors Fund. Wonderful facility in Englewood, New Jersey. I started there in the early 90s. I've been there probably 50 or 60 times performing for them. And
so important.
Great people there. Larry Woodard, if you're out there. I love Larry.
Yeah.
I bet you Jennifer Roberts knows Larry's name.
Look at this shot.
Yep, that's how my legs were when I was bending down with my dad before. You know.
That's a cool shot too.
Oh, that shot right there, right next to me, that young lady is named Michaela Lockhart. Now, she was a student in Florida, I would say about 4 years ago. And do you know who Mark Shaman is?
Oh, yeah.
Mark Shaman is a wonderful composer, Hairspray, When Harry Met Sally. He scored so many City Slickers, scores a lot of Misery. He scored for Stephen King's movie.
Right.
He was looking, his mother is in a retirement community down there. He was looking for a male and female singer to join him when he goes to visit his mom and do something on stage for the people. So somebody recommended her. He was so blown away by her voice, very Whitney Houston-esque, that he said, Michaela, move to New York. So she moved to New York about 2015. And she enrolled in Pace University, and I asked her to sing backup on my original song called When Did You Stop Loving Me? And that's the video that actually Dave Antonow played bass on. It trips backwards. And it was featured on the Howard Stern show when they interviewed me. And she continued bouncing around Manhattan. And Kristen Chenoweth hired her to sing backup about 2 years ago. So remember, this girl was in Florida 4 years ago. Mark said move to New York. And from there, she got a role in Hamilton, the national touring company. And it stopped in March, of course. But she's part of that. And just amazing how fast someone's career can move.
I just go right
up. Then on the other hand, somebody like me.
But look at all the time you've put in. Here's another cool shot we have in our research department.
My motorcycle. In the book, I talk about standing on the seat. This is stupid, so I'm not bragging. I'm just dumb, but I think it's interesting to talk about. Sure. I used to stand on the seat. It was only doing 5 miles an hour with my arms outstretched and just sort of like, you know, maybe go like 50 feet, 75 feet, just being a knucklehead kid, you know, showing off. But yeah, that was, I wound up under a garbage truck with that motorcycle and it was totaled.
Did you really? There's another
snickering over there.
That's a cool shot. Brooklyn Arts Council.
Chuck Reichenthal, if he watches the archive of this show. Chuck Reichenthal is a wonderful gentleman who is the director of the Brooklyn Arts and Cultural Association. So when I first came back from the Army, about that age, he started booking me to do libraries and parks and senior centers in Brooklyn. And that was one of the outdoor shows in Bensonhurst, which was actually right down the street from where the son of Sam got his last victims there, which I also write about in the book because I was actually present when Stacy Moskowitz and Robert Violante was shot in the Lover's Lane section there near the park. Because I had just gotten that motorcycle and it was like 2 a.m. and I kept making this big loop around all the streets just to, you know, play with the motorcycle. And on the 4th loop, there was a crime scene. And I remember there was a guy with a white shirt in the park. So that had to be David Berkowitz. Like, it was crazy stuff. But that's one of the stories in the book.
And then the healthcare workers show.
That was a couple 2 months ago, I guess, in New Jersey, Wyckoff, New Jersey. Oh, that show, they wanted me to wear a mask. And my dad goes, wear a mask? You can't sing with a mask on. Remember you said that to me?
Sure.
He goes, I can't even talk with a mask on. So, you know, the N45s are those heavier masks. You probably can't sing, but that's a surgical mask.
Yeah.
I think I sang better with the mask. So, you know, it was weird, but, you know, I wanted to do the right thing.
New York.
This is, I'd like to focus on this photo for 1 minute.
Yeah.
That is when I was appearing at Freddie's Supper Club, which was, I don't even know how I got in there. I mean, they only had stars. It was like, you know, big names, Eartha Kitt, Maureen McGovern, Dixie Carter, Kenny Ragland. So I got in there because a young agent named Larry Pellegrini booked me in there. And I started doing different shows, and New York Magazine promoted that show. But if you'll look right below that photo, there's another, that's a black theater company called Ujamaa Black Theater Company promoting their play. I was actually a lead role in that play too. I'm not mentioned in that photo or the accompanying text, but it was so weird. I remember like going to a newsstand, you know, before the internet, and opening New York Magazine and seeing my picture. And then I'm like, wow, they've got the play I'm also in right below it. And Freddie's Supper Club was amazing. Later on, Larry Gallagher became the booking agent. And he was tough because he's like, well, you're not a name. I said, yeah, but I packed the club. I got all the guys from Brooklyn coming. Oh, I just kicked
And you got, I see Dangerfield in the picture too, just below you.
Yeah, Rodney Dangerfield was in. Let me just fix this camera.
Did you meet him or work with him at all, Dangerfield? Any the Don Rickles, the Dangerfields, any of those guys?
I've performed in Dangerfields on First Avenue, but I've never. I'm sorry. Let me just fix this camera again. 1 second. All right, there we go. Yeah, I haven't performed. I performed there once, but it's mostly for comedians. I'm not a comedian per se. Right. I just do like goofy bits on stage with the audience and keep them laughing. But, you know, there was a time where I was doing more comedy. It was about the time I met Jerry Seinfeld, and we were hanging out. There's a whole chapter in the book about Jerry Seinfeld and I. And how
did you meet?
What's that?
How'd you guys meet?
I saw him on David Letterman. And out of all the comedians, I scrutinized and watched very carefully because I was performing in Pip's Comedy Club in Brooklyn, and Andrew Dice Clay was just starting out, and he would introduce me, and I would watch these comedians, and I was doing more comedy then. And I would watch Letterman and Carson very carefully, and Jerry Seinfeld made such an impression on me, and I heard him mention that he lived on the Upper West Side. So when we had phone books, I went in the phone book and I found an address. So I mailed him my press kit. I was about 20 years old, 21, and he never answered me. So then one day in that health club that I work at on 73rd and Broadway, who comes walking in? It's Jerry Seinfeld. And he was totally unknown. Yeah. Nobody knew who he was. So I said, Jerry, it's Jerry. And he goes, oh, you're the guy with the big, you sent me a 28-page press book. So then we got friendly, and I started hanging around with him, and I got to open for him here and there. But in the end, I sabotaged the relationship because I was relapsing back and forth. You know, I went down to the Village Gate, and, you know, I was drinking too much. Just, you know, that's what addiction is. So I actually lost a really good friend and a contact and a colleague because of that drug addiction type stuff. But it's an interesting chapter, and it's in the book.
You've been very open and sharing. And did you find it easy to open up and share? You know, because you're being very vulnerable as well when you did it with the book, as you're doing with us, which we really appreciate, Jerry, you know, on their show here as well. But was there any hesitation? Did you have any pause to say, you know, maybe I won't share that, or maybe I shouldn't share this? Or did you know first on, I have to do it and I want to do it?
No, I mean, this is something that goes back to the Howard Stern show too. I noticed that he was always brutally honest. and he would say things that only people thought and nobody would say out loud, especially on the air. And he wanted Robin, his assistant, and people on the panel, his whole, Baba Booey, all of them to be brutally honest. And I took a, cue from them. And I said, that's what you need to do, is you can't BS people because they could smell it. I mean, not everybody, but you just got to be honest. And there were a couple of things I left out of the book, just a couple of things, because I didn't want to alienate the readers. I didn't want them to go, oh, that guy is terrible. He's so bad. I'm not even going to read his book. He's a horrible person. There's a lot of horrible things I did, but I went beyond, and I just couldn't share everything.
So who is
on the Jim Masters show?
Who is the
I might share something here. This might be a historic moment.
We've had several.
No, but those are all in the book. Caroline, should I share that story?
Jerry, tell them when the collection.
My dad just got me off the hook because I'm not sure I should share this story. But he just said, Jerry, tell them about the collection. So if you'd like to hear this quick story.
Sure, yeah, we're here.
Before I went in the Army, in the throes of drug addiction, I went around to the neighborhood kids and I said, my father died and I have no money to bury him. We need money. And I got as much money from everybody in the neighborhood as I could. So about, I don't know, a couple of years later, and of course he didn't die. Just a low thing to do, I know. But so my mother tells me on the phone, I had a flat tire and your dad came over and he was pumping up the car and some guy walked over to your father and he goes, excuse me, sir. And my father's going, well, what do you want? Well, I'm busy over here. He goes, no, I just want to ask you a question. He goes, wow. He goes, do you believe in reincarnation? So as soon as my mother told me that, I started laughing and my mother didn't know why I was laughing. So I said, Ma, that's because he was one of the guys who paid for Dad's funeral. So, again, I'm not proud of it. I'm not making light of it. I'm not being a stupid jokester about it. I'm just accentuating the fact that drug addiction will take you that far down. And I never was that person. I'm not that person, but you can be that person in a temporary state, right?
So who is Jerry Castaldo now, these years later, through all of that? How do you define you?
What you see is what you're getting here. This is it.
Yeah.
I'm not pulling punches. I'm not full of myself. I feel that I've worked very hard to, finesse these skills that I'm able to use to make a living. And, I'm blessed to have a studio like this where I can come in and work on my recordings and my videos. And, I'm just a happy guy now. So, and I just encourage anyone. I mean, people would tell me, you need AA. I said, I'm not going to AA. I'm not, I was just like, I'm not doing that. I am not doing that. I could do it myself. And then, you get to the point where, I thought when they pulled me off the subway tracks, I was like, oh, now that's what I needed. No, that was another year I was out there. But it's like I talk about in the book, the last chapter, I climbed those stairs to AA and I said, I'm going to sit there in the back and nobody better talk to me. I had my jail face on. Don't look at me. I'm not part of you. I'm not no alcoholic. I'm just coming here because, I got no friends and family no more. Nobody wants to deal with me. I'm going to sit here and see what this crap is all about. And I went every day for the next year. I didn't miss. I went twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day. And that was the start of I think I'll have 30 years this November 1st. So that's who I am now.
God bless you. God bless you, truly. And look at this wonderful relationship with Dad. You know what I mean? The fact that you guys are there, and I'm sure it eases his mind knowing that you're here and you're accomplishing these great things and you're giving back to the community and you're watching over him as he watches over you. That's the stuff that life is all about. And you've seen it full circle and have come through the tunnel and out on the right side. And it's a beautiful thing, right? Isn't it?
Thank you. He was a heavy drinker too, but he didn't have to go to AA. He's one of those guys that just stopped. Right. I mean, he was drinking heavy. I mean, his kidneys were failing in the 80s. He used to walk out of hospitals. I remember Victory Memorial Hospital. They said, your dad may not make it. His kidneys are functioning at like 30% and 40%. And I rushed to the hospital and the woman was making the bed. And I was like, oh, he's gone. You know how they take the body out? Yeah. I said, he goes, oh, your father, he ripped out the IV and he said, I ain't staying here. And he walked out. That's but when he knew that he had to stop drinking, he did. I guess some people could do that. I couldn't. And unfortunately his wife, who danced under the name of Bobby Lane, she was a good looking woman and she had some business going on. She did the Catskills. Yeah, she got hit by a car and she was a heavy drinker and we lost her a few years back. So, alcohol, I mean, I don't mean to make this interview drug heavy and depressing and stuff, but it's real. I mean, I don't want to just come on and go, hey, I'm a singer, I do well, So that's why, and you tricked me, Jim, because I was leaving 20 minutes ago. These people can't take another minute of this.
Am I smooth or what? Yeah.
And you hooked me right in, and I'm still here. I'm not sure there's any viewers still left, but
they are. You're definitely worth it, Jerry. You're definitely worth the time.
Thank you.
Some really beautiful shots here too of the singing and performing. Let's show some of that as well. That's a great shot there. It's one of the
my white Gibson Les Paul that Dave Antonow has his eye on. My father's watching. Dave is watching the guitar. My father's watching Dave.
How old?
You're not getting out of here with that guitar.
How old were you when you learned to play the guitar?
I was 10 with the lessons. I quit the lessons at 11, and I was pretty good at 12 and 13. But the kids in the neighborhood, once I started hanging out with those street kids, I remember a bunch of them came into the apartment with me, and they looked. They go, whose guitar is that? I was like, I don't know. It's my brother's. I didn't want to admit it.
Right.
So ridiculous, right?
Right. That's a cool shot there too. Isn't that a nice one?
That's the Martin D28 guitar. I love that thing.
Black Magic Woman. Yeah, Black Magic Woman. What about songwriting too? Writing your own material and performing your own material.
Anybody could call themselves a songwriter. And sometimes, I'm embarrassed to say, oh, singer, comedian, dancer, songwriter, a technician, electrician, plumber. But I have written a lot of songs, but I don't find any monetary value to sit there. I mean, if I had one song that was really doing a hit song that was out there, then I'd say, all right, let me sit down and start cranking out songs. But, I need to go out and do shows and make a living. So I'm doing live shows and I sneak a few of my originals in there. Like When Did You Stop Loving Me, which is on YouTube. That's the one that got some attention and airplay. That got me on Howard Stern. But there's a whole bunch of other ones. And I haven't been writing as much. And a lot of the songs I've written over the years don't fit me at this age. But there's a song called A Girl Like You. It's a well-written ballad, but it's like, a girl like you, I'm 60 years old, It's like, I would love, maybe somebody else would want to record it, but I don't see any return immediately by sitting down and writing. I need to get on the phone. I need to book shows. I need to go do shows.
I think you also like the live element. You like the feeling and the energy of a live audience and working with the audience and the give and take of the energy. That feeds you, right, Jerry?
Well, that's what stage actors say all the time, don't they? When I was doing that play with the Ajama Theater Company, I got some good reviews. It's the immediacy of the audience as opposed to, doing a film. We're going to do 5 different shots, back to one. And it's like, we got to get this, it's just different. I remember appearing in that Ujamaa Black Theater Company, we were doing a play called Please Don't Take My Rhythm and Blues, well reviewed, New York Times. It was on 43rd Street between Broadway and 8th, right across the street from the old New York Times plant. It was the Carter Theater. And in the middle of the play, I played a scheming music producer who's, you know, cheating these singers from the 50s out of their money. And there was a big desk. And at one point, I'm supposed to bang on the desk. So I bang on the desk, and the whole desk collapses on stage. Full house, about 300 people, and the spotlight's on me, and the desk just falls down. The fake phone falls down, and I was so proud of myself because I didn't get nervous. I just said, I think I know what to do. So I kind of just went off script, and I went, and I started pushing stuff around, and I could hear some of the audience like, you know, giggling like these people are doing over here. Yeah. And I just bent down.
Those people some White Castle or something after this.
So I said, I know what I'll do. I had a great idea. So I did it slow because I knew what I was going to do. I moved all the wood. There's like some kind of lousy made table. And I found the phone. I picked up the phone. I said, this lousy table collapsed. Get maintenance up here right now. Blackout. I walked up. The director came up. He started kissing me. I said, get off. He goes, you're an actor's actor. You're an actor's actor. You know, but it was such a highlight of my life, you know.
Right. You seized the moment and made the best of it.
You know, I was afraid, but like with the audience, you know, it was like, all right. And stuff like that is not going to happen with film. Although I'm not saying I wouldn't be happy to be in a film. I did a lot of extra work. I was with Robin Williams on The World According to Garth, Ryan O'Neal on So Fine. I was, this is kind of interesting, I think. I played a cop in a horror film called Chud, CHUD, it stands for Cannibalistic Underground Humanoid Dwellers, or Humanoid Underground Dwellers. And that's not the interesting part. The interesting part is my fellow cops were, who's that guy from Murphy Brown? Jay Thomas.
Oh, yeah.
Jay Thomas was a cop with me. And who played Roseanne's wife, a husband? John Goodman.
John Goodman.
So I have a picture of them. John Goodman and Jay Thomas were also cops. So we all had these fake cop uniforms on. And, you know, we did this film. And what was interesting about that is Matt Dillon was a big star at that time.
Oh, yeah.
And we were shooting in Chinatown in the middle of the night. So somebody gave me this pill. I said, you know, what is it? They said, it's acid. I said, oh, fine. This is great. I would eat anything, you know. So I'm on acid. And I'm dressed in a cop's uniform, and it's 2 a.m. and Chinatown Canal Street is lit up in Manhattan, and there's a break. So I have a, you know, joint, and sorry, Dad.
Wait, Dad's learning a lot tonight.
so I take the joint and I walk away from
a good spanking tonight from Dad.
No, that's coming from Caroline. So I walk around off the set. And there were people sitting on like a stoop or something. You know, it was a hot summer night, and I asked them for a light, and they go like, this cop has a joint, and I'm leaning over, and they didn't know I was on the film set, so they thought it was kind of funny. But yeah, that was a crazy night to see. You know, those guys became major stars. Absolutely. Unfortunately, we lost Jay Thomas recently. I was on his radio show, I guess about 4 years ago, with his co-host Kevin Meaney. The comedian who we also lost a few years ago. Right. Kevin and I played softball together, and we were friends, and he read my book, and then he had me on the show with Jay Thomas, and that was right. We lost both of them. I mean, you know, that's what I'm saying, Jim. We're only here for the day.
Live now.
You know, my stepfather may not be here tomorrow. You know, my heart goes out to him. I love the guy, and I'm saying that because in case his brother's watching this, you know, I don't mean to out the guy, but this needs to be said. This can't be a secret. I mean, you know, back in the old days, everything was hush hush. These days, things are supposed to be out in the open, but still, nobody really lets it out in the open. I have relatives. You know, you keep only the good stuff out there, and this is horrible. This kind of stuff. Right. And I hope he gets better. I feel better. I'm feeling much better now.
Yeah.
And again, I'm going to try to pull out of this gracefully. Don't try to hook me back in here.
What a line that is. With Dad there too.
Well, I don't know. I'm getting worried about my guest, and I got to get him.
Chad is here from Louisiana. Chad
is here from Louisiana. I'll tell a quick story about Chad. When I was trying to get sober, when I came out of the Army and I kept relapsing, I was always good at getting jobs. So I had an apartment in Manhattan, nice apartment, 1 bedroom. And that's another story in the book. I had gotten through some powerful politicians, Ed Koch and others. I won't go into that whole thing, but I saw an ad for flight attendants. I said, ooh, that'll get me on a plane. It'll get me out of here. And Eastern Airlines was just going bankrupt at the time or something. So I went out to LaGuardia Airport, and there was literally thousands of people on a line. And it was like, I can't believe this. But I waited online for about 7 hours. And when I got to the guy, like I had watched, as I got closer, I saw what they were doing. They were doing a quick interview. And if the guy liked you, they'd send you like to another interviewer. And then if you got past that interview, you'd go to another one. So I was like looking at this guy, and I was this African-American guy. He looked nice. I said, I got to make an impression, or I'm not going to get this job. So like when I got up to the guy, I went, look me in the eyes right now. I said, I'm the guy for this job. I said, all these other people. And I just gave this spiel, and he went, go over there. So then I went to the next person, and long story short, I got the job. So what they did with flight attendants is they sent you to Miami for a month-long training. And this was just what I needed too. I needed to get away, although changing locations don't always cure addiction. That's another story. But Chad was from Louisiana, and one of the best human beings I've ever met in my life. He wasn't my roommate, but he was in my classes. And every morning, all day long, we went to school for a month. And this guy was just the nicest guy. I always thought about him. And then through the magic of Facebook and the internet, you find people again. You know, I know that's not always the case. Sometimes you don't want to find people, or you don't want people to find you. He and I connected, and Caroline and I had the pleasure of flying down to New Orleans 2 summers ago. And then I rented a car, and we just drove out to where he lives, about 45 minutes west of New Orleans. And he had the whole day planned. His wonderful wife, his wonderful daughter, who is a genius student. And they just gave us a beautiful tour of the plantations and coquetry, I believe, which is right on the Gulf, because he was a fishing boat day captain where he would take people out. He's had so many jobs, but that was great. And I love you, Chad, and thank you. And we're going to see you again when this is over. You know, I'm not even kidding now. I just saw my battery power say something like 5%. And I'm probably
5%. One last thing, you got a nice comment from Randy, who says, Jerry, you haven't mentioned that you're an animal lover. You own a dog, another side of Jerry. That's from Randy.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's hard to fit everything in here without sounding so full of myself. But enough about me. Let's talk about me.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So you have a dog. You're an animal lover.
I have a beautiful 2-year-old chocolate lab named Mocha, and I've always wanted dogs. Couldn't have one in my Manhattan apartment. I had one as a kid when I was 11. I had a horrible thing where a dog was hit by a car and ran to me with a broken neck and just died in my arms when I was 11. My brother and I crying. My mother was out. The cops came. They didn't know what to do with 2 kids at 11 o'clock on a Saturday night. They picked up cardboard and they put the dog in the trunk and just left. It was like 1 minute I had a dog, and like a half hour later, the dog was gone. So, you know, I always wanted another dog. So I started getting different dogs in the early 90s when I got sober. And I had 2 beautiful labs in the last 10 years. Unfortunately, they both had organ problems, so I lost them at 5 and 5. But this one is a rescue, and I'm told that when they're not purebred, a mixed breed may be more hardy when it comes to organ health. So she's beautiful. She's 2. And thank you, Randy. Randy actually hires me to sing at in Westfield at a beautiful apartment complex where they have a community of people. And we had to, unfortunately, cancel a show in June. Yeah. And it looks like December's probably canceled. But she's trying to work on something, I believe, where we're going to stream something. And Randy, I'll have everything up to snuff by then. I won't be doing it on my phone.
Before we wrap, Mary Bishop says, thank you for being so down to earth with this audience. Made for a
Mary Bishop, another well-known cabaret performer. I believe she impersonates and does her own thing. But these are talented people. Thank you for watching.
Yeah, they've been following along here. And just another quick one here. Great stories. This is Christine. Great stories tonight. Some inspirational, some to better learn Jerry's career, and so many hilarious ones as well. Also, so nice to have your dad included as well. Willie is telling us in Holland it is 3:15 a.m., but she's finding it so interesting. 3:15 a.m. there in Holland. And Merlin in Ohio, it's been awesome. Thank you, Jerry. Take care. Stay safe. Bye-bye. Chad. Thank you, Jerry Castaldo. You're a great guy. Always welcome to visit us. Mendy, Gabby, and I love you. You're inspirational. See you all soon. Got to go on a swamp tour and show Caroline some alligators.
I'm not going in the swamp.
City boy in the swamp, I tell you. Kathleen Walker in New York City. Good show, guys. Jennifer, thank you, Jerry and Jim. Stay safe. Jennifer Roberts, yes, it was wonderful to hear your story. So honestly, Renee, this has been a great show. Thanks, Jerry, for coming on tonight. And I know your battery is going and your dad has to drive back. But Jerry, this was awesome. And, you're welcome back anytime. And maybe if you want to sing or perform or do something later on, you could always do that. But this was great.
I'm prepared for it. I mean, I might have considered it when it was, I'm using this mic. It's just
the phone. The phone, the internet connection. Absolutely.
Randy might say, I'm not having him back.
We got to hear about the book as well. The book is available where? Amazon, everywhere?
Amazon, Barnes & Noble online. And, some stores carry it, some libraries. The Brooklyn Public Library, of course, had given it a great review. Michael Musto from the Village Voice, formerly of the Village Voice, gave it a good review. Cindy Adams, formerly of Good Morning America, and the New York Post had said something funny. I mean, I hate pushing the book. I'm not one of those people that say, hey, you got to go read the book. As a matter of fact, before we lose battery power, give me the last 4 viewers of the week for the last 4 weeks. Whoever you are out there, private message me, and I'll mail you a free book in the mail Monday, tomorrow.
Awesome. That is awesome.
And I mean that. So,
Renee is the viewer of the week now, but she just ordered it on Amazon.
Oh, sorry about that.
That's it. Jerry, I hope you enjoyed your time with me as much as I have with you. This was really a blessing and a joy, and we wish you nothing but, and you're welcome back anytime. And I know you watched the show, which I really appreciate, but it was cool having you on the show, being so open, authentic. The audience loved it. I loved it. Having your dad there, your friends there, the family. It's a really beautiful thing. That's what it's all about. And, you're terrific to have here, and we really appreciate it. And hope you enjoyed your time with me as much as I have with you, Jerry.
No, thank you so much, and for your understanding. Sorry about the creaky beginning, but it's how you end, right?
You got to just stick with it and keep trudging through, right? You just keep going. That's the way it is. You never give in or give up. You just keep moving forward.
I was listening to you vamp as I was in a panic over here, and I'm like, this guy is so good. You really are. You're good at your job, and that's why I was so excited, and that's why I wanted it to go off without a hitch. So next time.
And you were great. When we said, hey, would you like to pop on the show as a guest? You just said, give me date and time, and I'll be there, which we really appreciate, Jerry.
Well, thank you again.
You take care. Get Dad home safe, and we love you guys, and thanks for being on the show, Jerry.
And thank you, everybody out there that watched, and I hope to see you again soon on Facebook.
You got it. Stay safe, all right? You take care. Have a good night. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
Wasn't that a lot of fun? It was a lot of work getting that together, but it was certainly worth it. And again, the gods were on our side with the electrics and the technical aspects, and his phone was down to 5, probably now 2% in energy, but it was really great having him on the show. And again, let's quickly just run through a couple of the fast photos if you joined us late. Again, entertainer Jerry Castaldo, our guest tonight. We talked about all of these incredible experiences, and he was very open and very expressive tonight on the show about his life, about things that he has coped with, struggled with, and overcome. It was really great to see his dad as well. Wasn't that fantastic to see his dad? He's obviously very proud of Jerry, and for his dad to be there with him tonight, and other friends and family as well, was terrific. He put them all together in that sort of socially distanced studio audience scenario, really just for our show, which I appreciate. There's the book right there, Brooklyn, New York, A Grim Retrospective, Jerry Castaldo, a memoir. Make sure you get it. Amazon has it as well. Singing for the Healthcare Workers, Even with the Mask On as well. And these are over the years. These are all from his private collection. And of course, the beloved Joe Franklin, a legendary talk show host in New York, who we lost just a couple of years ago. There he is at 12 and at 17 in Brooklyn. And as I mentioned, I had an opportunity to know and have a great opportunity to have a friendship with Joe Franklin, who really, really was a New York institution for sure. A couple more comments coming in. If you're just joining us, yes, very honest person. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. My audience is always so appreciative. And honest guy, no BS, exactly right. Thanks. You spoke about a different Randy. You're Randy from Hatboro, Pennsylvania, where he sang at your nursing home. That's beautiful that he did that. Good to have you with us. We're here every night, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific on YouTube at Jim Masters TV, Facebook at Jim Masters TV. Give the YouTube channel a subscribe if you can. We would love that. And maybe like this Facebook page you might be watching it on at Jim Masters TV. You can also find me on Instagram and on Twitter at Jim Masters TV. We do these shows live 7 nights a week. Only once in a while I'll take a night off to be with family and friends. 7 nights a week and we've got great guests and music and food and on-location segments, entertainment, lifestyle, talk show series. I feel like I was back home on your Italian side. Salute. Absolutely. And Merlin says, very honest. Kate says, great job, Jerry. And June watched it as well. Thank you very much, June. Kathleen as well. Kisses to Dad. Willie's still here. Bye-bye. Thank Jerry. Franny, or Francis, but now we call her Franny because she's one of our lovelies. She's a friend and fan of our show, the Jim Master Show Live. Jerry, good night and God bless. See you soon. It was a great show interview. Thank you very much, Francis. We appreciate that. Or Franny. Good to have you with us as well. Colleen has read the book 3 times and loved it. Barbara says, great book. Residents at WH miss ya. And more coming in here. I'll take a signed copy. Private message you. Bye again from Ontario. Glad you guys enjoyed this episode. If we have him back soon, he'll do some music, I'm sure. There was so many technical problems on his end because, he's off in sort of the woods there in Western New Jersey. The storm came through, the hurricane/tropical storm, did a lot of crazy, stuff to the technical. I mean, we were very happy that we here the night of the tropical storm last week, we didn't lose power. We didn't lose Wi-Fi or anything. So we were good. We were on the air. But a lot of other people did. I guess the technical gods were on our side. This has been a great show. Thanks for coming on. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Appreciate that, gang. All the lovities here. New lovities joining us as well. The conversation, stories, and photos were all enjoyable, as I wrote before. A bonus to have his father part of the show too. Such an honest, open guy, and great how he loves the opportunity to play at all the venues. And I knew his dad was going to be on. I knew he was going to have a couple of other people sort of in that studio audience sort of setup, which was kind of cool. And we may do something here on the show where we have several of you as my guests on the show at once, several of the viewers on the show. For those of you who have the opportunity to have a camera and a microphone, we've been toying with that idea as well. So hope you guys enjoyed the show. Hope it was a lot of fun for you. Jerome Brooks is with us tomorrow night And that is going to be fantastic. If you want to see the preview of Jerome Brooks, just go to my Facebook page at Jim Masters TV. It is there. We'll be doing some more promo blasts on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter at Jim Masters TV. Don't forget to relax, everybody. We say this at the end of every show. Relax, breathe, you take care, love one another. We hope you enjoyed this episode of the show. Great conversation, lots of levity as well, and some really deep topics and inspiring stories that Jerry shared with us. And I'm glad you had an opportunity to participate in that. And I say always, I might be the host of the show, the star of the show, host and producer, but I think you guys are the stars as well, all of you guys, all the lovities around the world here on the Jim Masters Show Live. We're going to be back 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific live. Hope you have a great rest of your evening, a great day tomorrow as well. Monday, the start of the week. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel if you can. We would love that at Jim Masters TV and all the other locations. And again, if you want to see anything that we've done thus far, 14 weeks of shows. We're gonna wait on that, Renee, just because we're gonna tie it up now. We'll do that tomorrow. We'll announce another. We've got to think about it. We're going to announce another viewer of the week tomorrow. I have to eat dinner tonight. We're getting out of here earlier than midnight or 1 a.m. That is a definite. So thanks to have you guys with us. We'll do viewer of the week tomorrow. You got an extra bonus day for you, Renee. Very good. My pleasure to interview him and his dad. You're very welcome, Linda. We'll work on that tomorrow night. No time now. We're running out of time. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night. Bye-bye. 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 See ya. Love ya. You get to wear it for another day. That's right. That's right. Thanks for sticking with us. Thank you very much, Mary. Love it. We'll see you tomorrow. Jerome Brooks Jr., phenomenal performer. He's going to be here. Tonight, you definitely get to wrap up the show on the same day it started. Yes, a normal schedule tonight. Yes, you eat and have an early. Yeah, I have a salad. We have ravioli. We have pasta fazool soup. A lot of food waiting for me, and I haven't eaten in hours, so I'm starved. All right, gang, we will pick up where we left off. Thank you very much. You relax. You enjoy wearing that crown another day. You've earned it, that's for sure. Lots of levity to you as well, gang, and thank you, Linda, as well. Francis, thank you very much. God bless you and yours. I hope you'll be with us regularly now. We're here every night, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. Willie, good night to you in Holland. Thanks very much for sticking with us. This is your host, Jim Masters, thanking you for your time this time. Till next time, tomorrow, we will be here live. I certainly hope you are as well. 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. On the Jim Masters Show Live Entertainment, Lifestyle, and Talk Show Series. It was a great night tonight, everybody. A lot of fun. It's actually, some of the funner moments are when we have fun together, but when things go crazy with the technical on the guest's end, and the guest gets up and runs out of their chair, and then he had the hope sign, and I have the relax sign, and then he came up with the doll, and like we have the George Burns here, my sidekick. It's really cool stuff. If you want to see any of the past episodes, 14 weeks of amazing episodes of the Jim Masters Show Live series are yours for the watching and viewing and enjoying at Jim Masters TV on YouTube. A couple more last minute good nights. Good night, Christine. Thank you very much, Willie. I am starved. I can't wait to eat. And we're going to do that now so we can get out of here way before midnight. Eastern time. I know it's like 3 a.m. where you are, Willie. Good night, everybody. You take care. Love you all. Thanks for being with us. Glad you enjoyed this inspiring episode of the Jim Masters Show Live. We'll see you tomorrow night. Take care. Bye-bye.